Welcome to Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. We're the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passions and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
It's a journey for life and I'm gonna ride. Hang on.
This episode of Snowmobile Sessions Live is brought to you by our friends at Energy Power Sports. Check out energypowersports.ca. But don't forget, this weekend is their open house, November 19th and 20th. So here's a rundown, guys. Here, I'm just going to get back on screen for a second here and minimize this a bit. So Ski-Doo and Can-Am Off-Road, there's 50% off Ski-Doo and Can-Am Off-Road non-current apparel, clothing, and riding gear. You save the taxes on the 2022 Ski-Doo collection. You save the taxes on the 2022 Can-Am Off-Road collection. You get 20% off non-current oxygen helmets, Jesse Buckman, while supplies last. You get 30% off BVS helmets while supplies last. You get to save the taxes on accessories November 19th and 20th. You get $150 off the Marlin single sled deck. Get that for me, will ya? The
That's
Sea-Doo,
awesome.
we got 40% to 50% off non-current apparel, clothing, and riding gear. You save the taxes on Sea-Doo accessories. Then he's got Can-Am deals going on. He's got 40% off non-current apparel, clothing, and riding gear. He's got save the taxes on Can-Am accessories. He's got plows on sale. You can slap a plow on your Can-Am, Rich, and pay for itself in a year,
Right.
in a season. Oh,
Awesome.
great. You got all the Can-Am accessories on sale. Friday, you get to meet the man behind MUDBRATS. Can you believe that? I wonder what he's like. You think he's decent?
Get
Man,
some
I
beer
can't-
off him.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, you know what? They say you shouldn't meet your heroes. Maybe it's one of those deals. Maybe I shouldn't go meet the man behind MUDBRATS. So the man behind MUDBRATS is going to be there Friday afternoon from like 1 p.m.-ish to 6 p.m. And you get a free Snowmobile Sessions t-shirt to the first customers. And I think that's like 20 customers, but there may be more. So just be patient. But anyway, isn't that amazing? Thank you,
That
John
is
Luke,
wild,
for
man.
that, for lining up those shirts. And then Saturday, you get to meet your local snowmobile club and get information from Hillsburg Snow Roamers. That's Corey
Nice.
Brock's club. Might even be Corey Brock. And there's a free barbecue courtesy of Curbside Chef Food Truck. And the first 10 customers on Saturday get an XPX maple syrup bottle. No syrup in it,
Nice.
just the bottle.
Nice.
So there's syrup. And guys, the syrup has gone out. So I think the only delay right now is the USA customers that won that. And it's a food item. So there's going to be some delays at the border. It's all gone out. It went out 2 weeks ago. So if you've got it, chime in the chat that you receive yours. And if you haven't, it's on its way. And also one last note there, you can enter to win daily prizes, including a Ski-Doo X-Team jacket and pants. See you then. Over $3,000 in prizes to give away.
Nice.
Holy. John
Nice.
Luke is gonna kick some butt this weekend with that. And then the next thing we got going is this show is brought to you by our super fans. And they actually went down and below that chat window, they found that little $sign. They clicked that $sign, and Dustin Ingram kicked it off. And he gave us a ditch banger of a donation. And he says, "Cheers, boys, # Team Polaris." And Pro Polaris was so excited. He gave us a super sticker, a little thumbs up dude there. And $13.99. So thanks a lot, Pro Polaris. That's awesome. That's gonna go for parts on my Ski-Doo. So that's awesome. So already got a part, which you're gonna see in the fan photos. And the fan photos, who are they brought to you by, Rich?
Fast Track.
Fast Track, snowmobile traction. They got exclusive Snowmobile Sessions offer for free install tools with the purchase of a stud kit. Add that toolkit to your cart. Use the coupon code SNOW, S-N-O-W, and that toolkit is absolutely free. It's at fasttrack.co. There's no K in track, so it's FASTTRAC.co. Make sure you go visit them and tell them you heard it here first. So we'll learn more about Fast Track as we get going on here. So thank you very much, Chris at Fast Track. Woo! It's getting crazy, Rich.
Nuts,
crazy.
man.
So can you come down and see me Friday?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think I might whip down there.
I don't think anyone's going to show up to say hi to me. Get an autograph.
That'll be good, man.
I don't know.
Sounds like John Luke's got some great sales going on. That'll be awesome.
Oh, dude. He is amped. He's stoked. I texted him
awesome.
on the weekend, and he asked if I'd be there, and I said, "You really want me there? Don't you want people to show up?" And he ordered
awesome,
a whack of shirts. So
nice.
We got Snowmobile Session shirts that he purchased for the deal. I got decals I'm going to hand out.
Right on.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have my O2 wraps there on a table to show my helmet, because people don't see that up close. They only see it in the videos, maybe 3 of the videos that I produced last year. There's more coming.
Yeah, Jesse and Mike, you did a good job on their helmets. They look good.
Yeah, look good. And Jesse's got me more to do. I got a really neat Polaris one I'm working on right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dude. I just did one for the Mach Z too, which is rocking. So
right on.
It's I'm back into it now. I was
good,
in the
buddy,
I got behind there and kerfuffled, but I'm back into it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our guest, because he's waiting patiently in the in the green room. Probably ate all the M&Ms, and well, I just got to get that up here, and we'll get him in right now. So introducing Jeff Steenbakkers from Snowmobiler Television.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
Awesome, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Really looking forward to this whole evening. It's a good chance to connect with other people. So this is great.
That's awesome. Well, let's see who's in the chat, because I seen a lot of love for you earlier on the day. Savage One says, "Let's get the show on the road, fellas." There's a great comment. We get lots of love like that in this place. Corey Brock says, "Hey, Rich," and Savage One loves the new logo. Hey, thank you. It's awesome too. Anthony Palermo, he's back again. I'm up here ready for this episode. Snowstorms in there. He says, "Good evening, sled heads." Troy Parks from Alberta. We get people all over the world. Do you have any fans from Alberta, Jeff?
I know we have fans in Alberta, BC, right to Newfoundland, all over.
I have one. Good evening, fellas. Man, this will be a great session tonight. WD4ED. Rich, you always say that. Denon Oosterman's very excited for this episode. STV is my favorite show by a long shot. That's awesome. It's my favorite show too. I'm stoked to have you on, bud. This is great. Yeah. And Rich said it off air, but it is the best entertainment snowmobile show out there on TV, on YouTube, anywhere next to Snowmobile Sessions and MUDBRATS.
I appreciate that. That's very, very kind words, and I take them to heart for sure.
No, it's good. You're a genuine guy. I love the drag race, and we're gonna talk about that. Your triple. Rich is a triple guy by heart. Yeah. I bet you his Yamaha's. He's got a poster of your Yamaha triple hanging on his wall.
Yeah, we were saying that in the green room there. The SRX, my 2000 SRX was my favorite sled. Still is to this day.
Yeah, we hear about it every week. It's awesome. It always seems to be one guy sends in an SRX picture and it lights up. It lights Rich up. It's awesome. We love it.
Oh yeah.
And I bet you it's blue. It's got to be blue.
Yeah. It's got to be.
Let's start that.
That was hilarious when you brought that up, man. When I was watching STV and you're like, "What's with the black SRX? Like, it's got to be blue. It's synonymous." That's you think of an SRX, it's got to be the racing blue. So
yeah, and it doesn't always have to be the racing blue, but for me, an SRX is blue, and I know there's all kinds of other opinions out there on that, but that's fine.
Sure. Yeah,
people can have their own opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You got to change up the colors you can't keep the color the same, but
yeah.
You do though.
we got more comments here. We got more comments here. NLP Sledhead says, have you ever got this comment? NLP Sledhead said, Gary rides like an old woman. And Grayson says, have fun, Uncle Jeff.
There you go.
Oh,
is that your nephew?
From the Yukon, actually.
Grayson.
So there you go.
Way. Really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Brad Hitchcock says, evening, fellas. Corey Brock says, Gary is a great and fast rider. Awesome. I just ride in reverse, and it makes everyone else look faster. Troy Parks, he said the 600 EFI is a nice jump. They're talking sleds. Tracks and Waves says, hey, guys. Jesse Buckman says, hey, boys. Energy Power Sports, he's giving the love out there. He says, Gary takes it all in stride. Troy Parks, even when things go south, he seems to find some laughs. This show's always south, man. Who else is in here?
As long as it's not going south.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're going to do Sea-Doos. We'll go south. Oh, yeah, there's tons of people in here. Sorry, man. Angelo D's back. Oh, for sure. I'm just seeing Tom Miller. Hey, guys, ready for another great show. Muskoka Brappers in the house. Dan the Bratman Robinson. He says, hey, guys. Moose is back. Good eating from Tilsonburg, Ontario.
Nice.
Who else we got in here? Robbie Bell. You know that name, Rich. He used to come in all the time.
Yeah.
6 inches of snow on the ground at my place and getting more, you know. Who else is in there? Trent Campbell. Hello, my snowmobile friends. Uncle Buck says, hey, guys, looking forward to it. Danny Newell says, let's go, boys. Mark R., tons of fun and fans in Alberta. And David Barker's back. GT3 on the lift. Very nice. So Mike Goulas is loves the sound of triples. Yeah, right on. Perfect. We're going to see more, too. So, and Denon Oosterman says, nice to see the Scuzzy, but yeah, that's a wicked garage.
I appreciate that, too.
DP Rocks, Drew's in the house. He says GT4. And he says, yeah, see, my son will love your race cars. And Bryce Taylor says, super happy to finally see this. Yeah, we get a guest like you on, Jeff, and it hooks people. And they come back every week like crack.
Well, it's good. And I mean, if we can talk race cars, I'm all in for that. It's not something I get to do a whole lot of on STV. So I'm game for whatever you guys want to talk about.
Right on.
Yeah, for sure. Well, tell us a bit about yourself. How'd you get started in showbiz?
By accident, really, when it comes down to it. Way back in the day, and I'm talking like 94, 95, still in high school at that point. And I was friends. My dad was actually very good friends with John Massingbird, who started Snow Tracks Television, and was kind of hanging around with them on the weekends, when a class wasn't in session, and went on the road with them a few times. And I think it was around 1998 or so, John gave me the opportunity to join that crew. Had no television experience whatsoever, other than just kind of hanging around watching, stuff happen. I went to school for tool and die making, which is completely different than television, let me tell you. And I just started doing it. Part of it was like I didn't know what I could do and what I couldn't do, so it just started happening. Started very small with a tech segment on the show, Trail Tech. I started with that, and that slowly grew over time, and eventually towards the end, I was actually the host of the show. So that was very good. And unfortunately, John passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, which was awful, and I had to step up and help take that role, as he had to step back from that role. But I do credit John for really giving me the knowledge and the passion for television. And I mean, you couldn't get a more passionate guy about not only snowmobiles but motorsport in general, whether that was drag racing or road racing or big rig racing. It didn't really matter. John was into it, and that passion came through with not only himself but from the people he surrounded him with. He was one of those good guys, and I do credit John for me being here today.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Couldn't have said anything better, Jeff. John was an amazing guy, really good guy.
Yeah. Miss him all the time. All the time.
Yep.
And what's the connection with OSM and Snowmobiler television?
Well, I mean, even going back to those old days with Snow Tracks, I mean, obviously we knew Rich and the Kehoe family, and when I had to step away from television for a number of years, sort of out of the blue, Rich called me up and said, "Hey, I bought Snowmobiler television, and do you want to be part of the team?" And initially, we were talking about this earlier. It was like, no, I'm good. I don't need to go to television again. That's a part of my life that's in a box on the shelf. Happy that it's there. Don't need to go back. But Rich had some good ideas, and he was willing to listen to what I had to say, because even though I initially said, I'm not really sure if I want to be on television in a hosting capacity again. I also told him, I said I thought I had some ideas that would make a snowmobile show, a modern snowmobile show, a little bit more viable, a little bit less costly to videotape on the front end, and easier to do overall. So he liked what I had to say. I liked what he had to say, and I'm going into my 5th year with Snowmobiler television now. And STV, I think, is in its 25th year of broadcasting. So it's pretty cool to be part of a show. And I mean, obviously, I remember STV way back in the day as well, and got along with Mark and Marty, who were the previous owners. And it's snowmobiling media in Ontario. Everybody knows everybody, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's a small snowmobiling world, isn't it?
Very small.
And tell us about Sled, Ed. Would you ever go back to that? And how did that all start?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. That was a crazy.
Well, isn't that your twin brother or your brother or something?
It was some crazy guy in Toronto that was Sled Ed. I was never really that close to him. I helped out on some of the episodes behind the scenes, but that's about all I can say with that.
Classic.
If you know what I mean.
Sure.
I'm just looking around to see if I might have a set of fuel gloves around here somewhere.
I was going to say, is it the orange gloves and the black balaclava?
They're
nice.
They're not far away.
Nice,
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Will we ever see him appear on Snowmobiler television, or is he licensed under the other show?
He's licensed under the other show. So although we're not going to see Ed, I do have. There's a character that I've been thinking of called Snow Joe. I'm thinking Snow Joe.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
Where I could be wrong, and maybe some of the people who are listening in tonight can chime in. Ed was all about 70s. That had the bucket helmet. The Olympics, the old school suits and everything like that. So Snow Joe, I think he would be a child of the 80s. So leather suits with checkerboard patterns on them. Black LS AirTech helmet, smoke visor on it.
Yeah.
And maybe his sled of choice would be like the old Stratos or something like that. I think that would be a good Snow Joe sled. So maybe something like that'll happen. Maybe.
I think one of our fans has actually sent in a photo that maybe your lead into Snow Joe. I don't know. Wait till you see this photo. So we'll get into those shortly. But I was hoping you were going to say it's going to be called Sled Gary, the new guy.
Sled Gary.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
No.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But those were some fine days back helping out with the Sled Ed segments. It was always you knew you were doing well when the camera guy had to stop filming because he was laughing too hard. And
that's crazy.
There were a few times you were like, he's got to be dead. I know there was a few stunts where there was dummies used, but it was like, holy smokers.
Yeah.
I think
there must have been some crazy blooper reels on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like the stuff behind the scenes was more fun than actually than sometimes what went to air. And Ed used to tell me he'd ended up in the hospital at least once a year. So that was some of that stuff apparently hurt him.
Oh man.
Actually, we got a name.
Brad
Hitchcock came up with a name. Rich, do you see the name for the new character? Getaway Gary.
Getaway Gary.
That's a whole different show.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Jeff. Can I use that on my show then, on my YouTube channel? Getaway Gary.
For sure.
I got it.
For sure.
We're getting it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When the Renegade comes in, it'll be Getaway Gary, all right.
Getaway Gary. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
That's cool. I love that. Scary Gary. Okay, this is going too far. Getaway Gary did a big jump live on this show last year. He did. We did a draw, and I built this big snow pile with my ATV, and I launched it, Shake Up the Ballots. Rich was just about fell off his seat when we did that.
Did you make it, or just go full send and just like forget about it once it's in the air?
Yeah, I made it. I stuck it, didn't I? It was a pretty good.
It was good.
Pretty good jump. Yeah. So that was when we were giving away the 2B outerwear mono suit. Shook it up good. Yeah. But what's been your most memorable show that you've done? Like who you've met and that type of thing?
I mean, there's been so many over the years. I mean, back in my original role with Snow Tracks and now with STV, recently, even not that recently, I think one of the most fun rides that I had was up in Chibougamau, Quebec, because it's a great name to say. I mean, Chibougamau, who doesn't like saying Chibougamau? But right. We did the President's Ride. I did send you a photo of that. There was like 800 or 900 sleds that started, all old vintage stuff for this big kind of like poker run rally. And that's probably one of my best memories since getting back into TV with STV. Just an absolute awesome event to go and partake on that one. And then, for just general rides, I mean, I don't necessarily need some exotic location to go snowmobile. Some of the best rides I've had were really out of the back door from home, but places like Grizzly Lodge and West Yellowstone is a high point for me, and New Brunswick. We're going back to New Brunswick again in the new year. Looking forward to that. Nice. But really, just if I can get snowmobile trail in front of my skis, I'm pretty much a happy camper. And it doesn't have to be super smooth. It doesn't have to be trails that you can go as mock chicken on or anything like that. But just a good quality snowmobile ride is really what I'm looking for.
Yeah, nice. For sure.
Well, that's my theory too. I always say it's not where you ride, it's who you ride with, Yep.
Yep.
And we have a lot of fun, and I can hit the same trails with different people and have an equally fun blast on it. And it's, that's kind of my philosophy as well. I'm spying up that Thunderbird you got in the back there. Is that like an 84 or 85?
Oh, eagle eye on you. It's an 84. So that's
84, nice.
That was an old turbo coupe that my dad originally bought new. And he drove it for not very long with the turbo 4-cylinder in it before he figured out that didn't have enough power. So he ripped that motor racer out. Yeah, pretty much. That motor came out, a 351 Windsor went in. Then that motor came out for another project, and the car sat with no engine and transmission in it for a whole bunch of years. And this is a long time ago. This is over 20 years ago now, 25 years ago, I guess. And I said to my dad, I said, if I build an engine and transmission for that car, can I put it in the car and drive it? He says, yeah. So there's another 351 in there, slightly warmed over, about 450 horse or so. AOD, Lentec automatic, 9-inch Ford rear end. The car will run 12s all day long at the quarter mile. And
nice.
Yeah, it's a fun car.
That's the classic car you take to the grocery store, right? And pull up beside some young guy in some souped up car.
They're not I had an 87, and that was the first year of the intercooled turbo.
Yeah.
And I had that when I was 20 years old, kind of thing. And they were like, so my mom had the 84 like that, but it was just the 6-cylinder in it. And then I bought the 87 with the intercooled turbo, and they were 100 with the standard. You had 190 horse. With the automatic, they were only like 160 horse with the intercooler.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had the standard in mind, and it was awesome. Now it came on pretty good, but it was top speed. Like I remember Goodyear had an ad, and it was one of the top 10 fastest cars. And I think the speed was 143 miles an hour. And it that's faster than the Mustang 5-liter and stuff. But it had the tunable suspension. So you had the sport mode, like it had 3 settings on the switch on the dash. And what a great car, man. Like it's one of the cars I miss, And
I mean, I can pull this thing out of the shop now, and it still looks relatively modern. You look at a lot of other cars from the 80s, and they've dated like they're from the 80s. With this, the turbo coupes, Thunderbirds in generally kind of had that modern look to them. So honestly, it doesn't go much. It gets a couple of runs around the block every year. It hasn't been out of the shop much. Just no time for it. the summertime, and just too many other projects and other adventures going on to put the car on the road. But I have a feeling it's going to be coming out next summer. So, but I've said that for the last 5 years, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, my brother is a mechanic, and he kept telling me to put a 351 Cleveland in it, and he wanted to, right? But it was like, that was my daily driver. I needed another car to get by, and you know, so, but that was my forte into the you know, the muscle car segment. But and it truly was like, when that turbo came on, it came on good, and it would push you in your seat, but the top speed on that thing was fast. So I'm told. I never did it.
Yeah.
I never put it, to
Well,
its paces,
when
per se.
I was 9 years old when my dad bought that car, so I've never driven it with the turbo 4-cylinder in it on the road, I should say. But I have had with the 351 in there and the automatic overdrive transmission. And right now there's a 323 rear end gear in it, which is not good for getting out of the hole. But man, does it go fast!
Ooh,
probably faster than I should ever talk about on the screen. So I have to gonna put the 389 back in it one day and it'll be good. But yeah, right now it's got real long legs.
Right on.
Yeah,
real long legs.
Oh, awesome.
So,
and Brad Hitchcock notice your cab over back there. What's the story on that?
Yeah,
we don't talk about anything but what's in your
no,
scene
let's
there.
just do your garage tonight, Jeff. We'll have you back and talk about snowmobiles later.
Yeah.
I'm totally game. You should see there's another garage with a whole bunch of other stuff in it too. But
oh geez,
the truck is my dad's actually. When I was young, up until the mid 90s, I guess, we did truck and tractor pulling. So we used the cab over to haul the big trailer to tow the trucks around to the different events through Ontario and Quebec. Now the cab over, it's a 78 Ford CL 9000. That used to belong to the Miss Budweiser hydroplane boat racing team out of Seattle, Washington. So it's got a history as a race hauler right from when it was brand new, basically when Bernie Little acquired it. And my dad ended up purchasing it, I think, in and around 92, 93, 94, somewhere around there. And we've had it ever since. So it's been on the road fairly recently within the last few years. We did some racing with my cousin. We did Trans Am racing and some GT3 Cup racing with Porsche. And this thing hauled the toter down the road. And it was a lot of fun. Although you hop in that thing, is 78 Ford cab over is not the smoothest thing on the road. That is not the air ride cab, for people who know. There's no air ride in that thing other than the seats. So it's you hop in Ottawa here and you drive to Florida, and by the time you get to Florida, you've driven to Florida. So, but it's kind of a cool little beast. In the back, it's actually converted for a motorhome, so you can drive that thing with a G license as long as you have your air brake endorsement. And you can drive by the scales, and they can come out and chase you all they want, and they let you go, which is kind of cool. Nice. when that happens. So it's a different beast. We've talked about selling it, but I think it's probably going to stay around for a little while longer. I'm hoping to get it back on the road, do some more racing this coming summer with it.
Right on.
Yeah, that's
in
cool.
great shape.
Yeah,
and what's right behind you, Jeff?
So the green over here, the green Mustang, that's my car that I built a few years ago now. It's a 96 Mustang Cobra. Doesn't have the Cobra engine in it anymore. I took that out and sold it. So this one is, it's got a 347 in it right now, just getting it all back together after blowing the engine up out in BC with it. But it's built as I don't know if anybody's familiar with Champ Car Racing, which used to be Chump Car Racing, and Lucky Dog Racing, which is kind of a low buck, supposed to be a low buck endurance racing series that goes all over the US and Canada. And I kind of built it to compete in those series for long distance or endurance road racing adventures. Right, and it's a fun car. I mean, it's fast. Not much left of it is stock, other than the body, really, the unibody. Everything else has been changed. I build roll cages on the side, so it's got my own cage in it. Everything has been kind of, my fingers have touched every bit of that car. It is actually apart far enough. It replaced another Mustang that I had that hit the wall in Calabogie pretty hard, and I had to build a new car after that. So this one here it was down to the basic unibody, cut the roof off of it, welded a roll cage in that I scammed out of the old Mustang, welded the roof back on, put it all back together. And yeah, so it didn't leave the shop this summer because of the blown engine, but it's got a new motor in it now. It's running, and it'll be on the track this spring, maybe even over the winter. There's talk about maybe going down to run it at Daytona, which will be pretty fun to go down and do the race in Daytona in April. So that would be an interesting adventure.
Man, you keep busy on summer and winter, don't you?
Yeah, I'm living the life of Riley. I tell you, the opportunity to do snowmobiles all winter and do that, and then in the summertime follow another passion of mine, obviously racing and cars. That's really been my life for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been a great road, actually. Really good. A lot of time away from home, which I'm hoping to change a bit, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Hard to make a living in racing in Canada, though. It's not like the US when you're up here, but I've managed to pay the bills, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Right on. For sure. Hey, we got some house cleaning to do here. Corey Brock's a Mountain Madman tonight. Great show, great guest. Cheers.
Right on.
Oh, that's the Tug Hill sound effect. Hold on.
He's got a sound for Tug Hill. Oh, man.
That's Tug Hill. This is it. All right. Thank you, Corey. That's awesome. Yeah. See, I got to get my soundboard working again. I'm this close. Hey, Rich and Jeff heard it tonight. I'm this close. I was getting pressured to start the show on fashionably late as usually, so I did. So we'll get there. Jesse James 322 says, "Hey peeps, he's in the house." And Greg from Sometime Is Now, he made it, and Slowbee's out there too. He says, "What's up, fellas?" That's awesome. So yeah, thanks a lot, Corey. That's great. I got to figure out how to turn that one off. There we go. Okay, where were we when you're rudely interrupted there, Jeff?
Well, we're talking race cars, but we should probably talk about snowmobiles.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good point. They had noticed your Mach Z, and I said, "What about my Mach Z back there,
right there?" Yeah,
but yours isn't the Scuzzy. I mean,
I know. They said that would be a good race. I know. They said that would be a good race, and I said, "But what if I got spanked by the old Mach Z?"
I don't think the old Mach Z's got quite enough. This particular Mach Z doesn't have enough to get by the new Mach Z. I don't think this thing is still kind of tough around the edges. It is, although I just put a new set of pistons in it, so maybe that's going to change things.
Oh.
But yeah, that'll be in show one. We threw a set of Wiseco pistons in the old girl not long ago, and see if that's going to make any change. Do you think have to eventually try to make the thing go 107 miles an hour? I'm sorry.
Do you think if I actually zip tied the Smart Shocks down that I'd have a chance on the new one?
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend that. No, didn't work out well.
No. So yeah, that was unfortunate. We couldn't see it drag race or put some time down in that. You know,
I did watch the follow up though on your YouTube show, which was good there last week. That was a great show. Where we
were able to take we put all those segments together in one great big long one, which was I think just over an hour. So if you got an hour to kill, it's a good watch. Yeah, the Scuzzy is one of those. It never fails to fail, to borrow a line there, and it's but if it worked and actually went faster than Rich's XCR, the story would have been over. So the fact that it kept failing, it actually just kept. Hey, we got another story, boys. We can do another one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So was that Rich's personal XCR? That was his own sled?
No, that belongs to Edge Power Sports, a dealer that supplies us one of the dealers that supplies us our Polarises. It's his sled, and he's gracious enough to let Rich take it out and flog it pretty good. So that thing was, it is just absolutely gorgeous, that sled. The term greasy triple does not apply to that one. It is too nice to be the scuzzy, greasy triple all day long. That XCR was not.
Yeah. That segment you guys did a couple of years ago too, where you did a trip with all the triples, that was awesome too. That was a great show. It was a great idea to see you out on old iron doing a trip on old suspension. That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So
are you getting any closer to getting your Thundercat or what? Like, what's happening there? I think you had hinted that you had one in the back burner there.
Well, you see, I had the money. And then I found a motor for the green Mustang, so I don't have the money anymore.
Priorities.
Yes.
No, I've got a friend that drag races, and he started snowmobiling a couple years ago, just 2 years ago, and this year he sold out absolutely everything because he had to get a new engine and a parachute for his Trans Am.
There
Isn't that
comes
sad?
a time you have. Life is about choices. Sometimes you have to make a choice. And it might not be the best choice, but it's a choice. You got to make it.
There was something about making the wife happy was in the comment to me about selling everything off. So it's I think so. The idea is to be single when you're racing, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can race and snowmobile.
Well, racing, I tell people often that racing is a disease, and snowmobiling is very similar. But snowmobiling or racing is a disease really only cured by poverty. So,
yeah, yeah, I can relate to that. Snowmobile is a sickness. Yeah. You can sell everything off and cure yourself. Racing is a disease. You can't get out of it.
No, I think you can burn money faster in racing than you can actually burning money. It's pretty crazy. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
The NLP Sled had said doing cars and sleds at the same time is expensive, and then he goes on to say drag racing wives have the best racks money can buy. I think he's talking steering racks, though, right?
Yeah.
That's what.
Yes.
What he mean.
Yes.
Papa Watch Thundercat.
Yeah. I'm not making any comments about headlights at all.
No, that's right. Exactly. Oh, hey, listen, do you want to get in? We're going to keep chatting with you, bud, but do you want to get into some fan photos? Sure. This is my favorite part of the show. So let's get into some fan photos. I just got to get my crap together here and get this started. So let's do that right now. Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction Products. Check out fasttrack.co. And don't forget to actually, when you buy your traction products, your studs and backers, you put them in the shopping cart, you add that install toolkit, and you use the coupon code SNOW, SNOW at checkout, and you'll get that install toolkit absolutely free. We're going to have Chris on in a couple weeks from Fast Track to chat more, but he's a really good cat, so I'm looking forward to having him on. It'll be great. So this is this is one of our fans. It's Neil Owen, and Neil Owen says what's he say? Hold on, I gotta get this up here. Neil Owen says it's no sleds in the garage to polish and add the extras to in preparation for the upcoming season. Lonely is the snowmobile lift. That's what he says.
Everyone's garage is looking like that.
Yeah.
It's starting though. Like the mock said that was behind me. That's good to see. It's really good to see, So it's
I'd like to ask Jean-Luc whose that is, because he's probably wanting to pick it up.
No, he actually went in there and got his syrup and he was happy with the syrup, so he just left the sled.
That's it, eh?
Yeah. It's very, very true. He's it's going to be there for the open house. So if you haven't seen a Mox Ed and you want to check it out and check out the Smart Shocks and all that good stuff, then if you can get me off of it and wipe my drool off of it, then you can probably get a chance to get some pictures of it. Maybe you'll get pictures of me with it.
Jesse was saying that Mike's Mox Ed shipped, so hopefully his will be in soon. Apparently.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they're coming.
They're moving. Yeah, they're moving.
Yeah, some of them are there, and some of them are missing the desk post, I guess. But that won't be long to fix. So as long as they're coming out right, so
Oh yeah, who
that's
cares
all that
about a
counts.
post? You can ride.
Oh, hey, exactly. Denon Oosterman, he says he's stoked for the session tomorrow. He sent me this yesterday. So actually send in your pictures by Monday at noon. If you can send them in on Sunday, that's even better. Fan photo at mudbrats.com for you guys listening on the podcast. And he's got a picture of his old 600 Renegade X and sitting on the trail, nice, nicely groomed trail in the middle of a forest, probably in the Collingwood area. And it's just a beautiful picture, isn't it? Those are the days.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Brad Hitchcock, he got excited about the Polaris guys last week and sent me a bunch of pictures I can't show on screen, but he sent me this one. I can show. It's a guy holding the cardboard sign. He says, "Please help, not homeless. Just need money for new injectors, turbo intake, and some dyno tuning."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I wish I could show the other ones, but I'll probably send those to Rich in a private text.
That's awesome.
Include me on them, would you?
Yeah.
I will for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. Our fans have the most fun, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's snowmobiling. It's fun. I mean, that is one of the great things about doing what I get to do is everybody's having fun, and it doesn't really matter where you are in the country or internationally. Really, if you can talk snowmobiles with somebody, you're going to have some fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
There's an oldie.
Dan the Bratman
97.
Robinson, he loves them.
Yeah,
it's a 2001.
2001. Okay.
This is yeah. It's an MXZ 700 ported, geared, jaws pipe, jetted. Accordingly, he said,
I'll bet you that's a quiet sled.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He does a lot of back off trail. Like we're not talking ride the snowmobile trail and then go off in the ditch. He does a lot of real field riding up north. So he's good to go. This is a great one. Hey, where'd he go? Where'd Jeff go?
Lost Jeff.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back soon. Maybe he didn't like that sled. Maybe he went to offer Dan the Bratman Robinson some money to buy that one.
Hopefully
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right on. That is a nice looking sled. That's in good shape, man, for the year.
Really good shape, isn't it? Nice and clean. Here he comes back.
Sorry about that, guys.
What you
did you, Jeff?
I don't know what happened.
Did you just go and message Dan to buy that beast or what?
Well, it's not a triple, so I can't. I just can't.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Odie, the sled and car guy is in the house. He says he's heading to Energy Power Sports, trying to convince his wife to come as well. Maybe he'll meet Gary from MUDBRATS. Do you think? I don't know. Odie,
Jim Beaton in here. People who complain about the cost of sledding never spend a weekend racing.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Did you get much snow where you are, Rich, today?
Yeah, we got a dusting. We got a good little bit last night, and it was on the roofs this morning, but it's all gone now, and it's there's big fat wet flakes snowing out there right now. So
that's what it was doing earlier when I walked the dog. A great big, like it felt like it was in a snow globe. See some people talking about Papa Watts says, love STV. Jeff, any hints on what to expect on the show this winter?
More travel. That's once we get into the new season, we're going to be doing lots of travel, which is good because I'm bit by the travel bug. I like to do that, and we're going to be going everywhere. We're going to go to Fort Mac. It was one of the first trips in the new year. Get back from Fort Mac, and then we road trip out to New Brunswick. Back from New Brunswick, we've got a couple of destinations we're going to in Ontario, of course, and then Abitibi, Timiskaming up to James Bay. Where else? And then back to Yellowstone again by the end of February. That's for snowshoot. We're actually going to start the year with a travel story from Yellowstone, which is an awesome place to ride. That should be a bucket list destination for everyone. And then it'll be the end of this year for even next year. So middle of March, we're heading to Manitoba. We're going to ride from Thompson up to Churchill. So really looking forward to that. That sounds like it's going to be pretty adventurous type of terrain and ride. So that's going to be a good one. So this coming season for STV, we're practically coast to coast. So looking forward to that.
Right on.
especially
Nice.
after last year not being able to travel, of course. So
Yeah, that was hard.
getting back at it, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right on.
That's cool. Yeah, everybody's excited right now. It's great.
And then also just for the triple lovers out there, the Scuzzy will be back a couple of times over the season. And I think we're actually going to set up on the lake. I'm still going to plow out the big long radar run out to about a quarter mile or so. And then I'm going to get serious about doing an ice oval track. So I'd like to see what the old triples are like to do an oval race. That could be good.
Awesome.
And you
Yeah,
know what,
that's when
Jeff?
you-
You guys all have to wear leather suits, man, when you're doing the oval race.
That's where you got to get Joe out, right?
Yeah. I think I'll have to dig deep for my leathers. They might. I don't know if they'd even stretch out anymore. They've been folded up for so long. But
I still got
we'll
my
see.
Yamaha leathers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Those are the ones, blue and black.
Blue and black. Yep. Matched my 98.
Yep.
Oh, dude, you got to put them on, Rich, and ride.
You know what? I got it. I saw them there when I moved there a couple of years ago, and I came across them. Like, oh man, this brings back memories. Even the smells, like the two stroke stuck to the leather. It's got a distinct smell to it. It was like, oh yeah, my kids will be having that when they bury me. It'll be in the bag somewhere still.
Yeah,
That's
still smelling like
do you-
two stroke.
That's right,
Rich, do you think you'll ever get another SRX?
You know what? I was tempted a couple of years ago when it was blue, and then it went black, and then it got back blue.
No, but I mean an old one. Are you going to buy another
an old
old
one? If I could find one that was in really good shape, that's the thing. It would be hard. I'd really like to get the 2000. That was my, we already know that. I've said that numerous times that the 2000 has a special place in my heart. So, but yeah, even the new ones are nice too, though. Like I'd like to get on one of those as well.
Yeah, I rode with a guy last year that had a blue SRX, so that's coming up. This is Joe Spinagle. I rode with him. He's a buddy of mine and a buddy of mine too, right? But I don't ride with them enough. He commented on this. He said, "Gary, nana boo boo. This is one of the trips we didn't invite you on last winter."
That looks like a nice spot.
Oh, it is great spot.
Nice.
I would know where it was, but I wasn't invited, so it, there's that too, right? And this is my buddy Dino Sled. You've seen this one in quite a few videos, but not on a video from this location because I wasn't invited. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
it's
anyway,
always terrible when
you're.
I was just saying, it's always terrible when your buddies send you photos of a great location and they're like, "You could be here," and you're not. It's just like rubbing salt in the wound, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, But Jack Harniak is gonna help me out.
Oh, right on.
Hold on. Yeah, $6.99. Hey Jeff, I hear you beat the hell out of the sides. What does that mean?
Not for this audience, but yeah.
Is that like you don't get further down the hall, but you ruin the door frame on the way in? Is that the joke?
Could be. Jack's one of the racers out west that we run with. So
that's awesome.
Well, thank you, Jack. That's all. That's very awesome. I appreciate the love.
Yes, thank you, Jack.
Here. Yeah. So now we know.
That's awesome.
See, Jeff, anything can happen live, and it does. On
that's too funny.
Well, yeah. So. And you gotta run with it. So
yeah. Well, we don't necessarily have to run with it, but we do.
That's good.
Yeah, I could tell you about all the times Jack wrecked his race car this summer, but I'm not going to do that.
I missed that. Can you hold those numbers up again?
Oh,
that's awesome.
4 times.
That was a 4.
He'll tell you it was somebody else that wrecked him, but no, there was a 4.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Mike Goulas, he's jumped it up. He's a mountain madman now, boys. There we go. Thank you, Mike. That's awesome. He sent us a super sticker, and it's got this guy going goal on it. I don't know why it's not showing the super sticker there, but it's got this guy with his arms going goal. So he loved that comment about the door frame, maybe. I don't know. So there you go. The TV has a 2000 SXR in perfect shape for you, Rich.
Yeah, I just seen that. That was a good motor too. That was the single 700 triple, the SXR. Threw some triple pipes on it. That thing was a beast. Yeah, with triple. I put so I had a 97 SX 700, and I put a set of triple bender pipes on it. Oh, it was sweet. Great.
Yeah, that's also the reason why we can't have pipes on trails today. So thank you.
Well, yeah. Well, I wrote it on the lake. Well, this is back in 97, right? This is before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that now. That's I wouldn't do that now. No.
And had our co-host guest here, not our co-host, our guest there, Jeff, had he sent me in pictures earlier, I might have been able to show you guys my Mach 700 triple and with the video of it idling. So, but I didn't have time tonight, but I'm going to put that on my YouTube channel. So
yeah, for sure.
The triples are just unbelievable.
Oh, great sound.
So anyway, enough about Dino and Joe Spinagle and the trips they don't invite me on. So we're going to move on to Mark Slayton. So Mark, he says, "Hey, Gary. Hey, Rich. It's great to have you back the past few weeks. I haven't been able to catch shows live, but I listened to them both on YouTube and podcast during my 3+ hour day commute. So yeah, you can listen to us on Spotify and Google Podcast or Apple Podcasts and Google. You can listen to us on Amazon Prime. It's absolutely free. Just go on to your favorite podcast platform, search up Snowmobile Sessions, and you'll see our shows. And they're fun to listen to in the car. I always listen, and Rich does too. And we text each other going, "Hey, remember that show with so-and-so?" Like, and we'll quote each other what crazy stuff happened, because we often forget, but it's fun to listen to, isn't it, Rich?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got a buddy that complains though that they don't get up fast enough though, Gary.
I know. I put the good ones up fast. So this one will go up real fast.
This will be up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, the Polaris Ambassador one, maybe after Christmas. No, I'll put it up. I'm just kidding. It was a good show. Those guys are good guys, man. They friended me on Facebook too, so I must have made a good impression on them. So anyway, Mark says, "Thank you so much for all the awesome guests, in particular John Sherrard from Accelerated Technologies. I followed John's on YouTube for a few years based upon your show. I took the leap and bought some dual rate springs for the front of my 2017 Polaris Switchback 600 Pro S. I also added an adjustable limiter strap. I loosened the center shock preload and really paid attention to the rear sag. When I was done, just stepping on the machine was so much difference. The whole sled settled down when I stepped on instead of just the rear skid. I probably could have pulled more 1/2 inch of preload out of the center shock, but I'm going to start here. I just left the stock limiter strap in the sled so you can see the difference between the two straps. Keep up the good work, and let's all hope to get some snow soon." So you can see here the what he got there. He got the little dual rate spring.
Yeah, just above the little gray ring there.
Perfect there. Yep. So, and so he got that. And then we go on to the next frame. And he got the track link, which is I bought the track link myself as well. So I'm going to put track link in Roscoe. So that's this unit right here. And basically Neil Owen uses them all the time too. And he says you just get a little adjustable ratchet wrench, and he goes, you just go under there and go, and you can set it so the skis are planted, or you can set it so there's nice and a lot of pull with it. So you get days like when Rich and I rode last year when it was really sticky and you had that inside ski lifting all the time. You can actually just tune that out with a couple of clicks of the limiter strap.
Yeah, it makes making those changes on the side of the trail so much easier. It's really a key to trying to get the most out of your sled is that little device right there.
Yeah, that's cool
for sure. Moose from Tilsonburg from T-Bird.
Him and Ron.
For Moose and Ron Kestaloot from T-Bird, Ontario. That's awesome. Thanks, boys. $25 in the super chat. Love it. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's a great product. I mean, as soon as you started talking about it, I was always like, I always wanted to go under there, and I did move the limiter strap a couple times. What a pain in the arse.
No, it is, especially when you're on the trail. That's something you got to do inside the shop when it's warm, and even then, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and not now. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And the best part is, like, my my son's going to drive that sled, and my wife's going to ride it too. So I'll be able to just tune it up before they go out. And if Drew wants to wheelie like a madman, then we can click that back. And if he wants to make it stick right down in the corners, and we're all good to go. So yeah, it's going to be good. That's the thing. When Rich and I rode, it wasn't 100%. And then when I went out with Odie and the sled and car guy, I had that thing tuned. That skid was perfect. So it just takes a little bit of monkeying around, but you want to talk to John Sherrard at Accelerated Technologies, because he's the guy. Make sure you tell him you heard it on Snowmobile Sessions, though, because he needs to know that, right? Nunzio's in the house there, Rich. He says, hey, boys, and Jeff. Do you know Nuns, Jeff?
No,
I
don't think so.
Oh,
maybe.
Everybody knows Nuns. Yeah, you do now. Nuns, Jeff
I do now.
Nuns.
Exactly.
He's a player's ambassador.
Hey, Nuns.
Yeah, he's all over the place. Yep.
Yeah, he's a player's ambassador. He's a great guy, and him
guy.
and his wife go sledding all the time. They rack up thousands upon thousands of miles, kilometers a year, and they've seen some beautiful territory. And I'm envious. I love their life, man. They see it all, and they've got nice sleds, and she lets me ride them too. So that's even better, right? Him not so much, but Karen will let me ride them as long as it's his sled. So Karen's got a 650. She's gonna let me ride Nuns.
Yeah,
so
she's got that new 650 coming in.
Yeah, for sure. This is our buddy Mike Gulas. Mike's great. He was a fan all summer too. So I love this guy. He's a motocrosser, and he's a snowmobiler, and he's got a good YouTube channel under that name there, Mel Gulas, and or is it Mike Gulas? He's got Mel Gulas there. So anyway, he says, these pictures are me on the farm. I'm not riding off trail, LOL. I put 5,000 kilometers on last season on the Blizzard, just sold it to a friend, so it'll be still around, which is a good thing. He says, an awesome sled. It was a 2016 Blizzard 800 E-Tech. He just picked up another bad boy in September. It's a 2020 Renegade X 900 Turbo, and it came with DSTU skis. He installed a tune and LED lights, and he's just waiting for the snow, but he's still riding his bike.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's a great field shot. I love those days. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting the powder. Oh, that's why he qualified that as not off trail.
Yeah. Well, it's his own property, his own farm, right? So
it is. It is. I love that.
You got to be careful nowadays. You'll get shot.
Yeah. And the Blizzard here is
stay on the trail.
Yep.
This is my favorite sled, man. The XS chassis from Skidoo and the Blizzard colors are just, it gets me every time, right?
Yeah, it was a sweet sled.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is his 2020. Isn't that sexy?
Nice.
And he's got some. I thought it was for a second there. He sent me a picture of one that I actually did some decals on, but this one isn't it. But yeah, that's nice. Love it.
Good looking ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
Sleds
wait to
look
ride
so
it.
good now.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. How much far they've come.
Yeah,
it's crazy, the technology. How about the side by sides now? They're getting at it. Like that's crazy.
Those new Can-Am side by sides are freaking monstrous, man. I love them.
The Polaris one that was launched last week, the Turbo. That thing is sick.
Oh, I did
$45,000, man.
Yeah, that's cheap. I was going to ask 40 grand for my 99 Yamaha Wolverine 350.
Yeah, you'd get it too. Your snowmobile. Crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe the price is like so. Muskoka Mike was looking last year at 2016 1200 Skidoo 1200 X's. Okay, that's the sled he wanted to buy last year before he bought that Viper, and they were like 7,500. He had one that he passed up on. It was $7,200 is what he could have got it for. $8,000, like in that area. One was just listed for 19,500.
Gee, well, that's stupid. Oh, that's that one the other
Aston's
day,
not
wasn't
getting.
it? Yeah, was that the one with 20,000 kilometers on it, Gary?
I don't know. I didn't see the kilometers.
There was one in Facebook Market Group I seen, and it was like, that's insane. People are like, okay, this is too much.
Did you see that one dealer that put the Yamaha Snow Scoot up for like 13,500 and everybody lambasted this dealer going like, oh yeah, like it's a 5,500 MSRP sled and what are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you can charge whatever you want. And you know what? Someone's going to get it. So then the other thing is I a couple of years ago, the other Muskoka Mike K, he offered me to buy his 2018 MXZX 850, and it had like 11,000 kilometers, had 2 years of warranty left on the engine, blah, blah, blah. And it was $9,000 all in, right? And that sled was 14,500, the exact sled the other day on Marketplace.
Nuts, man.
It's like, good God, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see prices change from that over the next quite some time. I mean, I think prices are going to be up there. I mean, sleds are going to be hard to find. Good used sleds right now. I have a couple of friends that are looking for stuff.
Yep.
A good used sled is just that's reasonably priced or priced like it was a few years ago. Doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. If you want something that's half decent, you're going to pay.
It's true.
And I can say this because the whole chat is passionate snowmobilers, the real snowmobilers of the world. They're not the ones that just came into the sport because they had nothing else to do during COVID. But we need one good, warm, rainy winter. And everybody will dump them for whatever they can get to get out of it. And that'll put the snowmobile industry back in check.
Man. Just let the economy correct itself. Don't wish rainy weather.
Yeah.
I get your logic, but I don't think I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like.
It's like, no.
I don't like the logic either, but I'll make it through it. I did it before. I did it with when I had my 2004 800. That was a bad winter, and I got through it. You know.
Yeah, you're getting lambasted here and there. MUDBRATS, snowbread. You shut your dirty mouth.
Yeah, the real snowmobilers don't buy a sled for one season.
Yeah,
they buy them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to see everything take a turn, though. It'll take a couple of years. It'll come back, and then everything's going to be flooded, right? So,
yeah, I'm going to hang on to my own. I'm going to hang on to my 09 just in case, because it might be worth $20,000 next year.
Yeah, even Jean-Luc. Careful, Gary.
I've got a.
You tell him, Jean-Luc.
Yeah, but Jean-Luc will go and buy side by
just had a whole bunch of work.
There you go. You got new pistons in it, brand new.
That's
Jeff,
right.
you'll get 19 for that easily.
Well, for you,
track.
And for no, it needs another new track because that one's coming apart too. But once they get the track done for you, special price $18,500 tonight.
Perfect.
Tonight only.
Nice.
You can have it for $18,500.
Driving over as soon as the show's over. I'm heading over.
Well, you know what?
No
we'll
problem.
have an auction right now. We're going to start the bidding at $12,500 Canadian dollars too, Americans. So that's like $4,000 US.
Yeah.
So like,
maybe
we
one
can
day
sell the sled on you tonight.
Well, my whole goal with the Scuzzy is to get that thing to go over 107 miles an hour, because that, going back to that drag race that I had with our Rich with that XCR, he did 107. So if I can get my sled to go 107 or 108 would be better. The story's over. I've got nowhere to go with it. Maybe at that time it has to go up for a charity auction or something like that. I think that'd be a good next step with the Scuzzy after for one time it doesn't fail. I'm not sure if it ever will not fail, but if it doesn't fail, that might be a good thing. And with COVID pricing, it could be a good charity auction item.
Oh yeah,
that's
there
awesome.
you go, Jeff.
Yeah,
that's good
for sure.
You get a ton of people bid on that.
Yeah. Well, I know how I can get you to that speed. I'll just tow you behind John Luke's Mock Zed. How's that?
That's what it's going to take for this old girl. That's for sure. It's its days have come and gone.
Yeah. And NLP Sledhead. I don't know whether I should show his stuff. He was really throwing me under the bus there earlier, wasn't he, Rich? I don't know.
Well, with the rainy winter you wish there, everyone was getting upset.
No, it was before the rainy winter comments.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You guys know I love snow. I wouldn't want to put myself through that, but I'm just saying that's what it would take. I'm saying that if we had one rainy winter, they're all going to be gone.
I think
maybe once travel
opens
up, you're right, Rich. I think,
and it's starting to now, man. People are starting to travel like crazy right now already.
Yeah. Energy Power Sports says Gary the Grinch. Yeah, maybe I'll bring my Grinch costume on Friday, John Luke.
There you go.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? So, anyway, I'll read this, even though I don't want to, because Rich and Jeff told me I have to. This is from
oldie. Nice.
NLP
Nice.
Sledhead. Isn't that nice? It's clean. He's WD for Ed aka NLP Sledhead. He says, please pardon my messy garage. Same 2 sleds as last year, going through the 2 Skidoos, making sure they're ready to go. So he's got a fully rebuilt 97 Skidoo MXZ 440F. That's a great sled, race sled. And a 2019 Skidoo Grand Touring Limited 600R. But as you can clearly see, he also picked up a 2005 Yamaha RS Rage 1000 973cc triple cylinder 4-stroke. It was grass dragged. I spent the last couple months completely going through it, had it down to the engine block, floating in the chassis, made a lot of repairs and upgrade. I think she's pretty much just about ready to go. I don't know what she rides like yet, but I'm thinking it won't replace my dues. I just need the projects to stay busy. He says, thanks, Ed. Here you go. See, Ed, we showed your stuff. This is the, look how clean he's got this. You could eat off of it. Yeah. I love detail like that, man.
There's some time in that.
Yeah. Just rebuild your shocks and it'll run nice.
Yeah. This is, this just shows you that, that the housewives of Wisteria must have renewed their season or something, that he's at this time to get that much detail.
That looks good, man. Nice and clean.
Yeah. Oh, but we're too far ahead.
There's
here.
an oldie.
There we go. Oh, that was a picture you sent in, Rich. Of
that was
you
an
on
oldie.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So look at that garage. That's nice, huh?
Oh, that's a 97 MXZ.
97, yeah, 440.
Yeah, it's a 97 440. Yeah, same.
Nice. Look at that fan back there. That would keep the garage cool. He's got his bins all organized and a little welder there on the bench.
Looking in the background.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the Seaboys TV sticker on there. We got to get him some Decimals, eh, Rich?
Yep, some Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got lots of stuff there.
Generator in the background. Nice.
That must be nice. What did we say that Skidoo is? Oh, yeah, it's a 600R Grand Touring. That's why it's so wide looking.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Big windshield, big seat on the back.
That 440's a mint.
Yeah. And this is Rich.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
This is Rich Hop, Rich Outdoors.
Yeah. Look at that. He got the leather suit to match too. Those VMAX 4s were beasts.
Yeah, for sure. This is Sled Nut. He says, here's a flashback of me saying my brand new 92 VMAX 4. The ultimate insult was when me and my buddies were parked right outside our motel room in Aurelia. And in the night, thieves actually picked up my brand new sled and moved it out of the way to steal both my buddies' Skidoo Mach 1s.
Oh, that's awesome.
They won't let me. They still won't let me forget it. And now he rides a Skidoo. Isn't that awesome?
That's hilarious.
But what a great picture. He's just GQing it there on the old VMAX. Oh, that's crazy.
If that was to happen today, though, I bet you that story would be reversed. They'd be moving the 2 Mach Zs out of the way to get to that VMAX 4. Those things are sweet sleds and hard to find.
Tune those. Oh. Tim Bender had those things dialed in, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Jacob Harney. Jacob Harney. He's from the Michigan. Hold on. Outlaws. And he says, it's amazing they're able to move such a heavy sled out of the way, LOL.
Yeah. They were heavy. Pogo sticks.
Mark Bowe loves that VMAX, and Corey Brock said they were pretty ugly sleds, LOL. They were ahead of their times. It's like the phasers, too. Like Siders and the phasers when they had the separate windshield on them. Yeah.
The light, the turn. Yeah, they were ahead of their times.
Greg, from some time is now, they brought 2 bodybuilders to move the Yami. I love it. So it will teach Sled Nut from going into fannies ever again.
That's not in Aurelia.
Yeah, no, that's right. He just told his wife it was. They just told their wives it was stolen in Aurelia. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Look at this sexy beast.
Look at that.
So that's me at the President's Ride in Chibougamau. we had our blue SRX in behind it there. That was kind of chasing us. But I believe if I remember right, that was like a 67 Bombardier Olympic with an early 70s single cylinder Arctic Cat engine in it. So it wasn't a pure one, but the President's Ride, I think I did the whole thing, and it was like 60 or 70 kilometers on with that sled, with another 800 sleds going out and back on the same trail. So depending on where you were in the lineup, you had a whole bunch of people in front of you. The moguls on that trail were as deep as the hood was on that sled. And the last half of that trail I thought would never end, or I was just hoping for the sled to break, but the thing wouldn't break. It got me back to Chibougamau, 65, 70 kilometers, whatever it was. I was dead.
How was
and
your back?
it was not good. It's still sore, but an amazing ride. The where that picture was taken was right on the main drag in the town, where everybody takes off from one spot. The pall of blue 2-stroke smoke had invaded the whole town, and you're just coming out of it like a boss. It was an amazing event. If it's late in the season, it's like March. If somebody wants to go to an amazing event with a bunch of old sleds, do the President's Ride in Chibougamau, and bring new sleds too, so you can experience the trails up there, because they are very good as well. But an absolutely, again, one of my most fun events that I've ever done on a snowmobile was ride that old blister 65, 70 kilometers an hour through whoops as big as it, and it made it. Couldn't believe it.
Now, when I was looking before you left, Jeff, was it, or was that the beginning, or was that the end? That was the beginning,
no.
eh?
Actually, I should say that's probably at the end, because it's pounding my legs into my spine. No, just kidding.
That's right. He's actually standing up fully there.
That's it. Oh man.
Mark Bowe says it looks like an old train. Yeah, Mark Bowe says it looks like an old train. That ride, when I had my Nordic and my ski boost, I was poking around YouTube, and there's videos of that. There's a parade that goes through when they start, and it's like hundreds of vintage sleds. Like, I think the video is like almost an hour long, I think, and it's just dream sled after dream sled, and it's just all vintage, and they got ski boosts and barbecues and all kinds of stuff in the back. It's awesome.
Go look up this show on STV. They have it. It's on their YouTube channel. You'll see it.
For sure.
The cool thing about it, it was kind of like it was a poker run with a twist, if you will. It was kind of a points thing that had something to do with the cards that you were dealt with the poker hands, but also you got a certain amount of points the older your sled was. So if your sled was super old, 60s, you had so much points, you started ahead of somebody that was say had a sled that was from the 70s. So you were incentivized to get something that was old. But of course, then you had troubles with it surviving the run, because you had to do the 65 or 70 kilometers to get back to town to get the rest of your points. So it was a really, really fun event. And you saw everything there. There was a whole bunch of old wood ski Olympics, which were pretty crazy to see those things going down the trail. Just absolutely amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, nice.
That was a good show. That you must have been sore though. Like, could you even stand up on that, Jeff? No.
You had to sit down and take every bump. Like, there was just no way around it.
Like a park bench.
You couldn't even get into a rhythm, and didn't have enough power to go like double, double, double. You couldn't do that. So it was just like every bump was just bang, bang, the bang, the bang. And it had just enough like power to get the skis in the air to slam into the next mogul. And just, it was horrendous, but amazing all at the same time. I would do it again tomorrow if I could. I would do it again.
Right on.
Yeah. Troy Park says that was a great segment on the show, Jeff. Now he'll have to watch it all over again. Yeah, I think you're probably going to see your video count go up on that episode. And Speeder 757 says he's thinking about getting an old enticer for fun rides in Southern Ontario. Ooh. I got one guy sent me in this by email, Mark Bowe. He's one of our super fans.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah, he's leather suit and everything. And what do you think of that one? Old Indy 650 wedge.
Yep.
That would be like an 87, 88 maybe, or something like that.
Yep. He'll chime in on that. and the matching
Looks
suit
brand
to
new.
go with it, with the red pinstriping and
Yeah.
the matching
Yeah.
helmet.
The
It's
whole
actually a
4
hilarious
inches front
helmet.
travel.
Yeah.
I know Mark quite well, and I guarantee you he's missing that sled right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Corey Brock says
you
he's gonna have
guys
to watch it. He's never seen it.
Oh,
you gotta watch
it's
that.
a good watch. It's a good watch.
Yep.
Now, are you guys seeing a lot of popularity with the older sleds coming back? I mean, you know, for me, I'm always kind of been an old sled guy. I like that stuff.
Yep.
Whether it's stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, it doesn't really matter. But you know, we're talking earlier about sleds getting super expensive, and there still is some COVID pricing on old greasy triples and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you know, you can find that 2000 SRX for, you know, if you had a budget, even with COVID pricing, somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000, you could probably find something and something relatively good. I mean, those sleds, the SRX that I've got, that thing's got 18,000 kilometers on it. And I could go and fire it up right now, and I would have no problem putting another 1,000 kilometers on it. Well, my back would, but
yeah, that's the thing.
But-
The huge difference, man. Yeah.
I had to sell my 69 Nordic, but damn, I wish I could have kept that and rode it more and did some trail rides with it, because it's gone to a good home. Like, the guy took it, and he's the kind of guy that gets together with a bunch of people with old vintage rides and you know, but man, I still will get another one. Like, I definitely will get another one. Corey actually tagged me on an auction that happened 2 weeks ago in this area. And there was a bunch of vintage stuff, BOA skis, and you name it. So I don't know what they went for, how good of deals there was to be had there. But yeah, one day I will. And I mean, that's the thing. Drew actually rode in the ski boost. I got a video of that and laughed his ass off the whole time, and got to drive the old 69. So I'm glad he did, because I mean, it's rare that an 18-year-old can get on an old sled like that and giggle like a schoolgirl the whole time, right?
yeah.
It's funny you say that, though, Jeff. I did notice quite a few late 90s, early 2000 sleds last year. I did notice. I was like, holy crow, man. I've seen a lot in this one particular weekend. So that's funny you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of photographs ago, there was the fellow that had the old Yamaha Rage. I mean, that would be a dead reliable sled. I mean, obviously he's gone through it. The thing's beautiful. I mean, you would have no problem hopping on that thing and going on a tour that's 2,000-3,000 kilometers long, like a multi-day saddlebag trip. It's not going to be as smooth and cushy as a new model SRX or LTX, something like that, or have as much power as the Sidewinders do. But, you know, that'll get you down the trail reliably, safely, and you'll have a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, we all did it when those things were new. And, you know, that's a reasonably priced sled. You know, I look at the Scuzzy that I got. I mean, I think I bought that from like a friend of a friend for $1,500. It needed work, but with a little bit of wrench time, I mean, for a couple of grand total, you can have a half decent sled. Maybe not something you're going to do, you know, 5,000 miles a year on, but something that you can at least get to, you know, to the local wing shop on Thursday night for wings and back home again. Which, you know, for me, that's what I did for snowmobiling for years and years before I got into this TV stuff. Was you know, hopping on the sled in the evening, going to have hot wings, and then heading back. So,
oh, for sure. Well, that's the thing. It's like I'm drawing a blank on it, but there's Dan Bratman Robinson said he only paid $2,000 for that 700 that was shown earlier. So there is still good deals to be had out there, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, Drew says we need to get a Formula 700 triple. I agree.
Yep.
I had a
purple
700
screamer.
triple. Yeah. So Odious Sled Car Guy did over 4,000 kilometers on his 99 Formula last year, and I was with him for a lot of it. It's true.
Yeah.
I know for some of the tours that I want to do this winter, you know, to get on a brand new sled and do a tour of 1,000 kilometers over a couple of days or something, there's nothing to it. I mean, it's a no brainer. I want to do it on something old. I mean, we talked about maybe doing the trip right around Nipissing, but I think to make a twist, I want to do it on something with leaf springs. I mean, there's a challenge.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, don't
You're
kid
going
yourself.
way
Though.
back, Jeff.
those loops started with old bogey boxes, right?
Oh yeah.
Before there was groomed trails, it started with bogey sleds and leaf
Suspension,
springs. So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for
this
sure.
this is actually this is a picture of the Scuzzy when the name came around. The Scuzzy.
Okay.
This is I just picked the thing up. At the back of the trailer is the second sled, the basket
buster.
case that I got with us. Yep. But yeah, this is where the Scuzzy came home and got its name, the Scuzzy.
Nice.
What a way to buy it though. Like to have a part sled thrown in. Like that was great when you need an ignition and you just go, oh, I got one over there.
Same one. Yep. They're simple and easy to work on, right?
Or Magneto or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. All you needed was a good spring puller tool to get all those triple pipes out of the way, and they were easy to work on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only skinned my knuckles about 17 times, but no, I'm getting very good at taking those springs off and changing tracks in that thing now. So I can do it. It's like it's on a zipper at this point.
I think I'd like to get a little sled to work on. You know what? Maybe that's something I'll do.
You got to get an SRX, Rich.
Yeah.
You've talked about it enough. You should do it.
Yeah.
Hey Jeff, Glenn Soundby says, "Hey Jeff, missed the beginning. Don't know if you talked about it. How was Halliburton Club awarded Club of the Year?"
Halliburton. I'm not. I did not hear Halliburton was Club of the Year. I've ridden in Halliburton plenty of times. Great club up there. They actually saved my bacon a couple of seasons ago. We were up there, and on the way out of Dodge, going through Minden, I think it was, we blew a spring on the trailer. So I ended up at the Napa, bought a new spring for the trailer axle, went back into Halliburton, and they opened up the clubhouse so we could change the spring on the trailer before we could get to our next destination. But
awesome.
That club is got a lot of amazing people that are involved in it. And Halliburton is one of the best places to ride in Ontario, and considering it's so close for folks in the GTA, for me out of the Ottawa area, I'm 2.5, 3 hours to Halliburton. Actually, I've ridden from home to Halliburton a number of times, and it is just a great spot to ride. But I was not aware that they were awarded Club of the Year, so they're deserving.
And they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year too. It's an association on its own. So yeah. So
I didn't see that today. I usually pick up
brand new logo,
nice.
and done by yours truly, and featuring Corey Brock, and so it's watch for more things on Facebook from Halliburton County Snowmobile Association. So it's a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the next few days.
Good for them.
Might even be today that they launch it, but I think it's tomorrow. So that's all I can say. Yeah, it's great. And John Enright's been an awesome to deal with. Look at that mock in the back there. Is that what that is?
Yep.
No, that's a 69.5 Boss 302.
Nice.
So that's nice.
Much more rare than a Boss. So that's taken here in the shop as well. That's my dad's car.
Wow.
So here's a question for you. I don't know if my dad's watching. He'll probably be shaking his head with me telling you this, but what would you pay for an SRX now? Like say somewhere around $2,200, $2,300.
Yeah.
That's what my dad bought that 69 Boss for in like 1974, 1973.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now it wasn't that kind of money back then, but
no,
yeah, he's had that car since 1970. I think it was 73 or 74 he bought it, and that car went to the garage and was in storage from 1975 to 2008. Then it was started up, and I think Dad's maybe put 1,000 kilometers on it in since he's owned it. So 50 years he's had that car, and he's put maybe 1,000 kilometers on it.
Damn, I almost want you to zoom in on
special.
It. Hey, Jerry, it's like get rid of the sled. I want to see that car. Wow, that is unreal. That is beautiful.
But yeah,
those were rare too, were they not, Jeff? They weren't a big model. Like they were.
No.
Wow.
So in 69, they made 69.5 for those Mustang purists out there. They made somewhere around 1,620 or something like that. And then in 1970, they had, I had a 70 for a while as well. Same color in that Calypso coral orange. In 1970, they had made 7,000 and change. and that was for all the homologation rules to run the Mustangs in the Trans Am series back then, against the Camaros and things like that. So it was always a very like limited run, not very many around, and that one is all original paint, original wheels, original interior.
Wow.
The motor's been looked after just to make sure to change hoses and stuff like that, but it's about as original as you get, and really a barn find. So it was
for sure.
It's a neat car to go touring around, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful.
Is that a panel truck in behind it?
No, that's a 1946 Ford Businessman's Coupe back there, kind of a hot rod that my dad built. So it's still in the shop here now under a cover. No motor or transmission in it at the moment. I want to build a new chassis for that and make something fun out of it. But yeah, it's just another one of the cars that are kind of floating around here. We're Ford fans, if you haven't picked up on that.
Nice.
So
yeah, nice, nice, love it.
Yeah, we got a lot of Ford stuff kicking around.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, so you come by it honestly. Then all your tinkering and tooling, and the whole tool and die career choice, everything like that.
I never got into tool and die as a career. Really, I got out of school and went working directly for John Massingbird. So I took that hard left turn out of trade school and went into TV and never really looked back. But doing the tool and die thing and having that as going to school for that has definitely helped with what I'm doing now when I do my fabrication stuff or building roll cages or working on the machinery type of thing. Having that knowledge has really been helping out. But yeah, I've always been a kid in the garage. I wasn't the kid to hang out at the mall. I was hanging out in the garage.
Right on.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Nice.
I think when I went to high school, I actually taught my welding teacher how to weld. So
Nice.
That's awesome. Oh no, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. That is cool. Right on.
I was just
that is a nice
surfing
car,
through
man.
here to see if I can
Nice
find
cars.
my mock that I own for a few days.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good. So
Yeah.
is that in your
Montreal
garage
was
right now,
nice.
there, Jeff?
Not at the moment. That's up in the other garage with
Okay.
some other of Dad's toys.
Yeah, right on.
But Rich is on to something. If you could go into that Thunderbird and fire it up and stomp on the gas a couple of times, that would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it, Rich?
Oh yeah. Tour of that garage would be pretty cool. Yeah,
that might save a starving child somewhere else in the world.
That's awesome, man.
Every time your pedal floors, an angel gets its wings. Did you hear that?
I'm responsible for a lot of angels then, that's for sure.
Right. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe the baby's sleeping. Oh man, I'm gonna have my videos of the Mach 700 triple for you guys next week. I promise.
That's you said Mach 712, so that's not the Mach Z, just
Mach
the
1.
Mach, straight up Mach, right?
Mach 1.
Yep.
Yeah. But still a triple. So
Yep.
It is. It is. It sounds really good. And pre-COVID pricing, it had 1,200 kilometers on it, and truly 1,200 kilometers. Like there wasn't a bend in the footwell, and we got it for $825.
Nice.
And I sold it
I bet you
3 days. I sold it in 3 days for $1,900. What a dumbass!
Oh, well. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that thing's worth $3,000 today.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
It was.
So
it was really.
there's my SRX sitting there right now. So that one's
Nice.
It's in good shape. A little high on the mileage. It's got 18,000 K on it, but it still works pretty good. I mean, it sounds good. It does what it's supposed to. If you guys remember on STV, we did run it at the radar run last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little disappointed in the speed. I think the thing only ran like 94-ish miles an hour, if I remember right, which I thought it would be faster than that. But again, 18,000 K. You can definitely tell that it's you just pulling it over. It's tired. It needs a set of rings or a set of slugs in it for sure. Yeah. And then,
is that a 99?
A little bit more. I think it's a 2000 because it's hard to tell there, but it does have the blue belly pan, or 2001. Sorry, 2001.
2001.
I think the 98, 99s had the
black belly
body
pan
and black belly pan.
Yep, that's
this was the first one with the blue belly pan.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
And then the Scuzzy sitting there, and then above that on the bench is my old Polaris Indy 650. So that's the one that I'll never sell. Like the other two, if they had to go, they'd go, but I would never sell that SKS 650.
Yeah,
it's
nice. That's your baby.
Yeah, it's really. I've talked about this on STV, but it is definitely the one that really got me into snowmobiling. I got off of a 1980 Skidoo Citation to get on that thing, and it was a considerable step up.
Right,
but
no kidding.
Yeah,
no kidding.
So it was.
Was that the one that you took on the trip, Jeff? When you guys did that tour around, that was one of them. Yeah, okay, I thought so. Yeah.
Right so we had a couple of 650s in that XCR that Rich had. So
right on.
And then that last the one that's kind of hanging off the shelf there, that's the custom RMK that we put together for STV.
Nice.
Powertrain wise, it was all stock, but we did like there's Ice Age rails in it. iTech supplied a bunch of parts for it. I forget all who came to the party on that, but David Spoiled Sports helped us with that sled. It's actually back at Spoiled Sports right now. So it might be available. And then John Sherrard, we were talking about him earlier. John Sherrard and Elka came together to give us a shock package for that thing, and it worked really well. We took it to the Chic Shocks in Quebec, and that was another great trip there. Yeah. It was an awesome place to go and ride. I mean, it's a little slice of the mountains within a reasonable drive time from, Ontario, and for us here in the East, you could get and have that mountain experience there for sure. As good as riding in the mountains, maybe even better because it's not quite as high. I think we rode with Jonathan there, and I think he said the highest they get is about 4,500 feet. Which means there's still lots of oxygen for the sleds to breathe and for you to breathe, which is nice as you get up into the mountains out west, especially if you're down into the U.S. The mountains seem to be a little higher down there. Yellowstone, I think you're up around 8,000 feet, and when you're up at that altitude, you definitely suffer from lack of oxygen along with the sled.
Yeah.
So, the Chic Shocks, you don't really get into that.
Right on.
Speeder 757 wants to know if that cab over has a 2-stroke in her.
No, it's not a Detroit. It's 350 Cummins.
That's awesome. Yeah. Brad Hitchcock nailed it. He guessed it. So, yeah. Mike Goulas says you can't find a Boss 429.
No.
Drew says nice
rare.
Stang. Yeah. Drew's sticking around to see the next picture, I think, that we got coming up.
Yeah, the Boss 429 Mustangs are super hard to find. Yeah. So that's the green Mustang that's sitting here behind me now.
Right behind you. Nice.
That picture was taken out in BC. This is how crazy we are to go racing. I worked for the last number of summers. I worked with Avion Motorsports out there, so I'd spend most of my summers in BC. And the Lucky Dog Racing Series, which is an endurance racing series that goes all over North America, they were racing at Area 27. I think it was a 7 and an 8-hour event, so a Saturday, Sunday with 15, 16 hours of racing, whatever it was, over the 2 days. And we were in BC, decided that it was a good race that we should do. The problem was my car was in Ontario, so we hooked up a truck and trailer, drove from BC to Ontario to pick up my car to turn around, drive back to BC to race it. So that's how crazy we are. But awesome. The car worked really well until about a half an hour to go on day 2. The crank decided to break in 2 and just absolutely shattered the motor. And our day was done.
Damn.
But it was
So
pretty
you
fun
got
up
Drew,
there.
you got my son Drew going. He says, "Oh, beautiful man, beautiful SN95, and it's number 69 as well. Nice."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. Nice color too, man. Wicked color.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love it.
Something a little bit different. I was thinking about orange because orange is kind of my color too, but I kind of liked doing something different with the green on that one. So it stands out.
Cool.
You can see it.
For sure, man. That's cool.
David Barker thinks your cab over reminds him of the Maximum Overdrive movie with AC/DC tunes.
Yeah,
True.
Some people say it looks like Optimus Prime. So
yeah.
Right on.
I like the Maximum Overdrive reference.
Yeah,
though. That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. There's a picture we used for the thumbnail.
yeah.
Yep. So
Wicked
that's
colors.
the SRX, and then that blue Mustang is GT500. That was actually one time not raced, but it did the PPG Pace Car Tour with the kart racing series. So those cars were taken around all the different tracks. I think they were driven by female race car drivers, and then took VIPs for rides around the different tracks that the kart racing series used to go on. So that thing's pretty cool. It's fully caged, GT500, so it's got the 5.4 supercharged engine in it, warmed up a little bit, and it'll burn the back tires off in a hurry.
Nice.
No kidding. Right on. Speaking of carts, you got a little cart up there too. Do you have a little one that races that?
No, I got a couple carts for a deal a long time ago. That thing hasn't been out of the shop in a while, but it was a shifter cart at one time. Somebody transplanted a Briggs and Strat, or sorry, it's a Honda, like a 6.5 Honda in the thing. We got them to go have some fun at Calabogie Motorsports Park, which is sort of my local track here in Eastern Ontario, and thought it would be a lot of fun until you try a go-kart on a big track, and it's not fun. It's just boring.
It's slow.
It's not fast enough to be fun, and we determined that was not the way to go. So it's go to big cars.
On the shelf ever since.
pretty much. Yeah,
So
the fuel tank cracked in it, so it's sitting there.
Are you showing the difference of helmets here between the two sports, or what was going on in this photo?
Yeah, sort of kind of the different sides of my personality. I mean, snowmobile on one side with a snowmobile helmet, and then race car with a racing helmet on the other side. So I got to give photo credit to Brent Core, who's the main videographer for STV. He took this picture as something for STV. And, we were talking earlier, I didn't have a whole lot of pictures on my phone because I'm never the one getting taking the pictures. I'm always kind of, on the other side of the lens, not necessarily, it sounds pretentious to say I'm the one getting my picture taken, but I'm always the one doing the snowmobiling or whatever. And somebody else, when you're surrounded by professional photographers and they can give you photographs like this, why am I doing that? Because I can't make stuff look that good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, it's true. It's true.
But
what's the story with the fenders on the wall? Or those? Yeah, what's the story with the fenders on the wall? Is that leftover parts from collisions gone by or something?
Yeah, a couple of those cars were collisions that I was in, and then other ones were just cars that I'd fixed over the years. There's a couple up there that took a considerable amount of tugging with a big tractor with the car chained to big heavy shipping containers and then straightening cars out. So there's a bunch of Mustang fenders up there, a couple of BMW fenders up there, and I think even a Volkswagen fender up there. So it's just kind of a colorful, wall art. I mean, for to do STV in the shop here, one of the great things is just there's just so much stuff. I mean, I do work out of the shop, so it gets a little dirty and dusty. But for camera, I mean, every way you look, there's always, there's lots of color, there's lots of stuff going on in the background, and I'm hoping, if people are kind of listening here, when we're setting up shots, I'll often find, parts and pieces that might be kicking around the shop that are kind of cool, from old injection hats to pistons from motors that have been blown up and things like that, and just kind of Easter egg them throughout the
Nice. Oh no, we lost him again. Yeah. So What else we got here? DP Rocks want to know if that's Kawasaki green. You'll have to ask him that there.
Yeah.
So, he's coming back in.
There he is.
I don't know what's going on.
Hey, there you go.
That's all right. We got him back.
That's
it just kicks me off every once in a while.
Yeah, that's
like,
fine.
But yeah, I think we were just talking about like putting Easter eggs from some of the hard parts that are kicking around in the background for people to find. So hopefully some people out there appreciate it.
Yeah, that is cool. That is a wicked shot, though. That's cool. Yeah,
that
sums up everything, eh?
Yeah.
You want to talk about maximum overdrive? There she is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So there's a shot kind of sitting with some other big rigs in a parking lot, probably somewhere down in the States. And yeah, that's sort of what it looks like going down the road. Behind it, at that point, we were towing about a 45-foot stacker trailer that we could put 4 cars in if we really stuck them in there tightly. But yeah, it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
That's quite the sleeper on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes it a motorhome, which is great. So like I said, you can, it's a little easier for insurance and licensing, and you don't have to fill out logbooks with it. I've got my Class A license, so I'm qualified to drive it. I've been driving big stuff like that all my life, but it's for a race rig, it just keeps things a lot more simple when you don't have to deal with all the rules of being an over-the-road truck driver. So it's I know it's cheating the system a little bit, but it works pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's that's the dream sled hauler right there. I'm telling you.
It's not that much fun in the wintertime, and it's a little cool in the cab, but it does work pretty good. If you're hauling sleds to Florida, it would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually just got a text from one of our fans, Jesse James 322 on the YouTube, and he sent us this picture. I love seeing stuff like this. Oh, where did it go? Hold on. I just got to find it here. Rich got it too. He just texted us this.
Yeah, I don't got my phone with me though.
Oh, that
came up on my watch, but I can't see it. I'm too blind.
Yeah. Here we go. I'll get it up on screen now. I love seeing shots of this. He says, I got you guys up on the big screen.
He's in his shop.
That's great. Yeah, he's in his shop too. It's perfect. Love it. Thanks, right Jesse James. Love seeing that, man. Love seeing that. Makes it seem real that we're not just broadcasting to hamsters in their cages, you know.
Yeah, it's not just going out into the internet and nobody's paying attention. It's great. It's something. I mean, I get that with STV sometimes too. You're just really you're not sure who's watching. And to be honest, that's not to date myself too much.
You can't. Brad Hitchcock says you can't scratch your nuts in that cab over without everyone seeing it. See you do it. Did he drive by you when you were going down the road once? Two-story what?
Edsel? See your nuts, but two-story Edsels, yeah.
That's a great rig, man. Great rig.
Yeah, you are about the highest thing going down the road. So.
Oh yeah.
But I was just saying earlier. I mean, you never know who you're talking to, but at least now with YouTube, not to date myself too much, but back in the Snow Tracks days when we were doing things, and you know, Sled Ed was part of the game and all that back then. Those shows went to air on TSN.
Yep.
And then they disappeared. They went into the ozone, never to be seen of again. Yeah. And you know, that's the great thing with that we have access to now, is you can archive everything on YouTube and you can watch it there, and the videos are up for years and years and years in some cases. But you know, we can all go back and look at our favorite shows, no matter what it is, and find it on YouTube. And that's relatively recent in the whole media thing. And it's one of the things that I find, again, looking back and thinking back to that career before, you know, somebody would say, hey, you know, I love watching your show. When's the next one? Because you'd work like a dog for a week or more trying to put a show together. It lasted for 22 and a half minutes on TSN, and then poof, it was gone. It was like you never did any work at all. And people were like, well, why is your show only a 22-minute or half an hour? It should be an hour show. And it's like, oh my God, dig my brain out with a dull butter knife. I'd never be able to do an hour. But now with YouTube, I mean, it's great to know that people are are watching it. And I do want to say too that, generally I pretty much read all the comments that come through STV for YouTube and, Facebook and things like that, try to engage where I can. But I do want to say to everybody who does do comments, and I'm sure you guys are the same with this program, it's awesome to be able to hear from fans, whether they like what you're doing or they don't like what you're doing. To have that feedback is super nice. I appreciate every text, every comment that comes our way, good comment or bad. I appreciate them all. So I do want to say thank you to everybody for that.
Right on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're the same way too.
There's a shot from the Chick Shocks coming down the mountain at the end of the day. Again, beautiful place. If somebody wants a mountain experience that lives in the Ontario area and doesn't want to drive all the way to BC for it, head out to the Chick Shocks and go see them out there. Adventure Chick Shock, or there's a couple of other places as well. But you will definitely have that mountain deep snow riding experience within. I think for me in Ottawa, I want to say it's about a 13-14 hour drive to get there from here. So not even that much, 12 hours. So add a couple more hours onto that if you're out of the GTA. So, really a decent day you can get there and have one of the best mountain experiences you can ever have. Nice.
Yeah, that was another good show.
Yeah. My mechanic, Adam Furlong, he goes to the Chick Shocks often. So it's he loves it out there. But got some house cleaning here to do. We got Bruce Stewart says he sends us a Mountain Madman. He says, great get show as always. I think he meant to say great show as always. Cheers, boys. Love it. So
he was so excited.
Gary needs
to put the R in.
I know. Isn't that right? That's the way I get. Maybe he's had a few too many barmy blondes. Gary needs to organize an international ride. Of course I do. Yep. So that's great.
Mark Bow, hey Jeff, I really like the comment of the week you were doing. You actually called me out on a comment I made laugh out loud. That's awesome. Those are great, man. That is awesome.
Yeah. Wonder what comment it was. What comment was it, Mark?
Mark, I remember the name. I can't remember the comment though.
Yeah, put the comment up. Let's hear it.
Yeah, that's good. I love when you do though. That is a good segment of the show too, though. That is awesome.
Yeah, Zach says awesome show tonight. Zach says awesome show tonight, and Bruce Stewart's looking for the spell check button. That's what he's doing. Yeah.
So this shot, spirit of full disclosure here, Yellowstone is a sponsor of STV. So very first show of the season, you're going to see a segment coming out, a travel destination story from Yellowstone, West Yellowstone, actually. And this is a shot kind of overlooking the valley at West Yellowstone. This is at the top of Two Tops, one of the mountain ranges you can ride, like trail ride, actually right up to the top of it. We're up there with some snow bikes and a couple of regular sleds, and just this is where all the manufacturers get together every year. It's going to be back again for this spring. All the manufacturers get together there with all the new junk, and we get to ride it for a week. It is, the best week at work ever. And the other side of the coin, we talked about great places to ride. I think Yellowstone is probably one of the best places that I've ever ridden, especially for newbie riders or families or hardcore riders or mountain guys or trail guys. I mean, you can do it all at the West Yellowstone. I apologize for sounding like I'm pitching you on this, but like I said, full disclosure, Yellowstone is a sponsor, but it is really a great place to ride. I want to bring my family there. I've suggested other places to ride, people that wanted the wintertime experience, and going out to places like, Grizzly Lodge and things like that, which is another great place to ride. But you got to be careful for us here in the East. And if people are thinking about that Western style tour, you go to a place like a Grizzly Lodge or, Valmont, or you go down into Colorado or something like that. Those are great trips, but to go and ride those areas with today's mountain sleds, you have to be proficient. It's not just about holding the trigger and going up a hill anymore. It's so technical, and it's tough for us flatlanders going up into the Alpine and dealing with the air up there. What's great about West Yellowstone is that the trail system pretty much gets you right to that spot, right where those ghost trees are. The trail goes almost right there, and as long as if it's in the springtime and there isn't a ton of really big fluffy snow, you can ride right there on a trail sled.
Right on.
And it's really something for everybody, and that's where the Chick Shocks is nice as well, because again, if you want that mountain experience, you can run to the Chick Shocks, you can drive there, you can bring your own sled, go do some excellent trail riding, because it is on the Gaspé Tour for Quebec, which is just an outstanding tour in and of itself. But then go rent a mountain sled and hang out with Adventure Chick Shocks for the day, and Jonathan will give you guys like an awesome experience. And you do a day. For us flatlanders that aren't used to that type of riding, all you need is a day. You don't need more than that. Then go ride your own sled for a couple of days and maybe do another day before you head home. To dive like 2 feet in and go somewhere, Revelstoke or whatever, and say, I'm going to ride there for a week, and you've never ridden the mountains, good luck. Your butt, you will have sore muscles. Like, you will not believe how sore you are after day one, let alone, trying to ride there for 4 or 5 days straight. So I just wanted to throw that out. West Yellowstone, amazing.
Yeah, well, it makes sense why the manufacturers go there, like you said, Jeff, because when you're testing everything, you can test the mountain sleds as well as the trail sleds, right? So I've heard that from way back in the day. Yeah, which is awesome. That is good. You got to get out there sometime.
What's involved in getting out there? Like, what do you need for passes or permits or availability of accommodations and snowmobile rentals and things like that?
It's pretty easy. I mean, I've never rented a snowmobile there, so I can't say for sure, but we stay in the town of West Yellowstone, which is right at the gate going into the park itself. Now, if you want to ride in the park, it's pretty restrictive in there. You have to ride on an approved snowmobile. You got to go in with a guide. You got to stay to the trail. It's pretty restrictive. And to be honest, I've never ridden in the park. I've never gone in there. It's quite expensive. You do get to go see Old Faithful, and there's the buffalo and all that stuff that are kicking around in there. But we've always ridden outside the park, and I haven't felt that I've been missing not riding in the park. But given the fact that the whole town is set up for tourism, it's a little tourist trappy, I suppose, a bit, but they have great snowmobiles. They've got trail sleds. They've got mountain sleds. They've got really good sleds, not just rental crap. They've got guided tours. You can go out and ride yourself. I think there's like 400 miles that the town grooms. It's supported by the town. It's not like the system that we have in Ontario with the OFSC. So once you rent your sled, I mean, it's all approved. It's all there, and you can go. The trails all kind of loop out and come back to town. There's no services on the trail, so it's all definitely like a loop system where you go out, do a certain run, and come back to town. But really achievable and perfect trails, and that's why the manufacturers go there.
It's perfect.
We stay at a compound, or the sleds are just at a compound at the airport, just outside of town, and awesome riding. Right out of that compound. It's just it's amazing place to go.
Right on.
Highly, highly suggested. Anyways, and again. They are kind of paying me to say that in a roundabout way, but it's true. I mean, I would say that if they weren't paying me. So,
Bruce Stewart says sold. He says sold, and who's Sarah Stockton? She says at Jeff hint Yellowstone for Christmas.
That's my better half. So
right on.
I think maybe she went. I've been talking about bringing everybody down there for a couple of years now, so maybe it's going to have to happen.
Nice. There you go.
David Miller's taking his dad out to Yellowstone in December to experience it. That's pretty.
How long of a flight is that out there, Jeff?
Let's see. It's I think you fly into Denver, then you got to fly to name escapes me. You can't. Yeah, you can't get right there. It's hub out of Denver. Then there's Idaho Falls you can fly into and then drive in, or Bozeman, Montana, I think you can fly into, then drive into West Yellowstone from there. I think either one of those locations, you're looking at about a 2-hour drive from the airport to get into West Yellowstone. Weather is a thing. So I forget the fellow's name that's going there in December. Be careful of the weather, depending on where you're flying into. I know coming up from Bozeman can get pretty exciting with weather, even late in the season. We're typically there end of February, early March, and weather can be a thing. So I can just imagine what December would be like. But but yeah, it's
they get a ton of
a
snow.
little effort, but well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Speeder 757 says those mountain guys are in shape, and he says, "Tell me about it."
Those guys are nuts, and we talked about it a second ago about us flatlanders going and wanting that mountain experience. And I think pretty much every flatlander that I know wants to go out and ride the mountains, but unless you've done it, you really don't understand how physically taxing it is out there. And these guys, yeah, they are in shape. And some of them, when they're training for their snowmobiling in the wintertime, in the summer, they'll go biking and they'll go running and jog and all that stuff. And they'll actually have breath restrictors in, that they'll put in their mouth to restrict the amount of air that goes into their system, so their system can get used to dealing with less air for when they're at altitude in the mountains. I mean, that's how crazy these guys are. But yeah, but that's who you go ride with, or that's the type of guys that are, and girls. It's not just guys. That's the type of rider that's out there. I'm not saying it's not achievable for for fat kids like me, but it is
fluffy.
You go out there.
We use the term fluffy here.
Comfortable, but
huggable.
But
huggable, right, Sarah?
It is, yeah. she'll probably agree, I hope. But
or else no Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I've been trying to convince her to go down to Sebring for Christmas because I can race a car at Sebring just before Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like it's more expensive.
Actually, it's probably about 50-50, really.
50-50,
but, yeah. But no, West Yellowstone is a pretty amazing place, and it's one of those places that I would spend my own money to go back to for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Beautiful view too, man. Look at that view.
Yeah,
crazy.
Oh,
for sure.
I think the way off in the back, that's the Teton Mountain Range. So it's, I forget how far away that is, but it's quite a distance. And unfortunately, December might not be the best month to get a bluebird day like this. But if you get a bluebird day, the scenes there, you come around a corner and just like on a trail in the Alpine, that's perfectly groomed trail, and you come around a corner and you get vistas like that in front of you. It's pretty amazing.
That is wild.
That's awesome. Dominator says, "Hey Jeff, have you ever ridden Michigan, upper or lower, or Wisconsin? If so, what were your thoughts, good or bad? Good and bad."
So I haven't ridden in the UP of Michigan or in the bottom of Michigan at all. So, but I have ridden in Wisconsin, doing the approaches and the ditches in Wisconsin type of thing. So that's, ditch banging, where ditch banging was born and still lives. Michigan, though, from what I hear, it's very similar to Ontario, very similar to Quebec. They have our style of trails. I've driven through those areas in the summertime, and it feels a lot like you're driving through Northern Ontario, that type of thing. But from what I understand, it's very busy. And when it's rocking in the UP and trails are good and it's a busy weekend, you need traffic lights on the trail, from what I hear. So I think that's probably a little bit of a detractor to it. From what I hear, the trails are awesome. They feel a lot like Ontario, a lot like Quebec. Big, wide open, fast trails, but very busy. And Wisconsin, I think, is the same but less busy, just because there's just not the population base there to pull from. But again, very nice trails in Wisconsin. Feel a lot like Ontario.
Yeah. Sarah says, "At least you called me his better half and not the old lady." Haha.
Yeah.
Corey wants to know what's wrong with old lady. LOL. So Brad Hitchcock says, "What part of Quebec is Jeff from?"
I'm not.
From Ottawa.
I'm from.
He's from
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
From Ottawa. Yeah. Yeah.
That is part of Quebec, is it not?
Oh, jeez.
I can see
Sarah
Quebec
says
on
you
my
got-
drive.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually in Gat this weekend. Actually, my daughter lives in Ottawa, so we went to Gatineau and we hiked up the mountain there and stuff. And
Yeah,
Nice.
beautiful
Sarah says
there,
you got in a bit of hot water for saying it on TV from a viewer. What happened there? This is getting good, Rich.
Yeah.
So
I hope you lambasted him in the comments, Jeff, if that was the case. He took a shot.
Yeah, that's
at
the
him, right?
comment of the week. That was Mark Bowe.
Oh shit.
It was actually, I was doing a tip for Yamaha, wanted us to do a bunch of like kind of pro tips to help people with their snowmobiling experience. And it was in and around the show that we did with the triple run, the radar run out at the lake. And the tip was, how you can use a hairdryer and a blanket to get your old greasy triple running if it's sat in a trailer or sat outside overnight. You can put a blanket over the cab, put the hair dryer in underneath, and just kind of let it do its thing for 20 minutes, and then the sled fires right up. So that was sort of my tip, or more my trick. But the tip was, if you're going to do that, don't use your old lady's favorite couch pillow and her hair dryer. Otherwise, you are going to go to the doghouse. And we had a viewer that did not like that, and I apologize. I did not mean to say, if for all the old ladies out there, I don't mean to call you old ladies. It's a term of endearment. Right. But yeah, she was not happy with me, and I apologize. I kind of feel bad. In today's day and age, I mean, we have to be so careful about what we say, and not to offend anybody, but sometimes some things come out and it's not meant in any type of again, derogatory comment or anything like that. But I didn't think old lady was a bad thing to say, but some people didn't.
I don't think she was mad about the old lady comment. She was mad that you made the couch cushion comment, and that was disgraceful for couch cushions all over the world.
Could be. Well, that's what I think.
Man.
My old lady wasn't upset at me, so I guess it's okay. Really, exactly, that's the only one. That's the only one that matters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm getting brownie points by that comment, I hope.
I think you are.
I think you're going away for Christmas.
I think so. Maybe you'll get to race cars in Yellowstone. You'll be able to take your drag car there and create a nice oval track and go crazy.
Maybe bring the old triples out there. So
right.
That's right.
That picture there is from Avion Motorsports. That's the company I worked for out in BC for the last number of summers. Great place. Area 27 is in Oliver, BC. Our shop was in Penticton, BC. Just an absolute wonderful place. One of the most beautiful places that there can be in Canada, I think. And our program was these RS1 race cars. So right now in the fleet, we looked after 22 cars, all the same, kind of like a spec race car. So they're a tube chassis, very similar to what the NASCAR Pinty series runs here in Canada. But they're 2 seats, so you can have a passenger with you. Both seats are Kirky containment seats, 5-point harnesses, the whole deal. They've got 450 horsepower Chevrolet 604 crate engines, which 604 is not a displacement, it's just a part number. But it's a small block Chevy making about 450 horsepower, 4-speed, straight up transmissions, 9-inch forward rear ends, full-on race cars. These things at Area 27, we were going into corner 2 at right around 150 miles an hour. So they're pretty fast. And what the program is, a lot of different folks own the cars, whether it's through their business or personally. We put on 5 races a season between Area 27 and Penticton Speedway, which is an oval track out there. So the cars can go road racing and oval racing. The setups can go both ways. We were supposed to do Wyant Group Speedway, which is Saskatoon, but we didn't make it there this summer because of the COVID thing. But I think it's back on the schedule for next year. And driving those cars is not to offend any snowmobilers that's watching this, but I'd rather drive one of those cars and go snowmobiling pretty much any day of the week. So I'm sorry. You can send the hate mail. I'm fine with it. But to get to experience a car like that on a track is
that's awesome.
Is quite something. And
look at the
drivers
view too.
Oh, it's insane there. That's just looking one way too. If I had more pictures on my phone, I'd send more pictures about what it's like out there. But I had like 3, and that was the best one. Area 27, right in the Okanagan, is just an absolute gorgeous place in Canada. Highly recommend going out there for anybody who wants to see some really spectacular scenery. I think the whole place is underwater right now, but
that's right.
Or at least the valley over is. But yeah, it's pretty special there.
Yeah.
So that's how I spent my summers.
Nice.
Wicked.
So do you go out every summer, Jeff? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's we'll see what next summer brings. I know they want me back for all the racing events. The race director, he's sort of nailed to the starter box. He can't move around too much, so I kind of take care of everything kind of inside the oval when we're there, or at pit road. I look after all the cars. So it's a pretty busy day, but it's a lot of fun. At the end of the day, you kind of get to the end of it, and you're kind of a little shell shocked from the day, but it's pretty good. And they got a great group of drivers with a lot of actually big name drivers throughout Canada. That race in the Pinty series, from Andrew Ranger to JF Fitzpatrick to Jason White to Sean McIntosh, Trevor and Riley Siebert. Trevor Siebert is the owner of this outfit, and some very, very, very talented drivers out there.
Right on.
That's great. Cool. Neil Owen says he'd love to be a passenger in one of the cars for a few laps. Is that a possibility? If so, how do you go about applying?
So there is a number of ways you can do that, actually. If you go to Avion Motorsports website, obviously it's all shut down for this season, but they do have a number of corporate days and event days that they do throughout the summer. I shouldn't say a number. There's like 2 or 3 anyways, and you can sign up. There's obviously a fee for it, but you can go out and you can rent a regular Camaro and drive yourself. Or what we'd often do outside of the racing stuff, we'd get 4 or 5 RS1 cars together with a bunch of drivers who know what they're doing. Then we'd all go out with passengers in there and do kind of like a mock race, where we're not going 10/10ths, but we're still going pretty good, but leaving the door open for competitive style passes going into the apex of the corner. And it was a pretty good thrill for people that were in the passenger seat, because it's pretty visceral over there. If you've never been into a race in a race car situation before, it's pretty overwhelming. There's been more than one, put it this way, there's been more than one person that's got out of those cars and launched their cookies all over pit walls. So it's sort of a it's fun. It's fun.
That's awesome.
Paul Laprise says he was in an RS1 with you, Jeff, and it blew his mind.
Yes, Paul's one of the other guys that works on the cars out there with us. Paul's an integral part of the team, and we don't. For those of us that are working on the cars, we don't always get to go in and drive them. And to be proficient in these cars, you do have to spend a lot of time. You need to buy a lot of tires and get some skills before you can just hop in and go. And I had a chance to take Paul for a rip. And I think, like I said, we don't always go 10/10ths, but I think Paul with you, I was pretty much at 11/10ths the whole way around. So it was.
Awesome.
I wanted to give him a good ride.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Another
series.
shot of it. Yeah, another shot of it there.
Wicked.
So what's it like? What's it like compared to racing your green Stang behind you there?
Faster. The cars have a lot more grip. They do run like a Goodyear slick that you typically see on a NASCAR style car. So it's they've got like an 11-inch face on them. So you got that on all 4 corners. So you got lots of grip. There's lots of brake on the car. They're not super powerful at 450 horsepower, but they only weigh about 2,800 pounds with a driver in it. So they're very light, and they react fine. They react very quickly. Plus, they're also the type of car that you can use the throttle to help steer the back end and get some slip angle to it. The Mustang is just it's the same type of feeling. It's just kind of slower everywhere. I've got with the Mustang maybe 400 horsepower, and the car weighs 3,500 pounds. With the Lucky Dog and the Champ Racing that I do, we're limited to street tires, so I just don't have the grip. So it's still fun. It's just a different style of racing, or a different style of car than a true race car like this one. The one thing that I think a lot of people take away from a race car like the RS1 cars is how violent it is inside. Now, it's not violent if you're driving because you're expecting it to do what it's doing, but there's no rubber against any bushing or anything like that. You feel everything in the car. It sounds, when you're driving slow, it sounds like there's a bag of hammers rolling around in the car with you. They're awful cars to drive slow, but once they're doing what they're doing, that's what they're built for, and they just don't like doing anything but go fast. So, and then if you scroll down on that picture too, you can. I think this was 18 of the 22 cars in the lineup, and you can see how it just kind of goes on forever. And then 3 of the haulers that we have out there, three of 4 haulers that we pull all the cars around with. So it's like we're traveling with our own NASCAR race.
Wow.
All the cars are in-house. Part of the deal with the owners with the Avion race program is that you might own your car, but you never actually take it home. It stays in the possession of Avion Motorsports for its entire lifespan. And that's for 2 reasons: so that we can make sure the cars are prepped properly to go to the track, but it also helps keep the cost down, if you would believe it, for the owners. This way, the owners, don't need that transporter, that truck and trailer to get their car to and from the track. It also takes away any opportunity for people to go cheating, which, as you know, happens from time to time in racing.
Absolutely,
once in a while,
squeeze out a little horsepower here and there.
Yeah. So that caps that. And in addition, all the cars are set up the same. We do all our own setups on them, so they're all set up identical to one another. And we don't give the drivers the opportunity to go and say test sway bar packages or spring packages and things like that, which is just burning money. You might get faster, but you're just burning money doing it. So this way, everybody's got the same shopping cart to race. There's nobody that's got a ringer. Again, they're all set up the same. They've all got the same spring rates. They've all got the same sway bars. When it comes to driver preferences, we only give them 3 options that they can make changes on the car, which is the rear wing for downforce. They can change the height of the panhard bar as to where it attaches to the car to either loosen or tighten the car up in the corner, and then tire pressure. That's the only driver adjustments that we allow. Everything else we've got nailed down so that they can't do it. And again, that's really to keep the cars even and keep the costs down.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Well, that's the thing. When you get into having your own gear, it's like motocross. You'll get challenged, and then they tear it apart, right? There'll be a it'll tear it apart and check, and that just causes more time and headaches and everything else. So that's what an awesome idea.
Yeah, I mean, with scrutineering when it comes to racing, whether it's motocross or automotive something or other, I mean, it's there to keep everybody on a level playing field as much as possible. Excuse me, but with this program, we just wanted to do something that was Trevor Siebert wanted to do something that was a little bit different and keep something that's a true spec racing series, so that everybody is playing on the level playing field, and somebody who's it doesn't matter what car they're in, that if they've got the skills, they can perform it as a driver and be very successful at it. So they've been able to grow that program from 5 cars 5 years ago when I started hanging out with that crew a little bit more, to last summer was 22 cars, and I think for this summer coming up, they've got another 2 or 3 cars that they're going to build for next year already. So it'll be quite the field next year.
Very wicked. Have you raced anything else other than cars? And have you ever done any snowcross, or have you any MX or anything like that?
No, I never. I've been on snowcross tracks, but I kind of got into that too late to be able to take advantage of it. Same with motocross. Never did any of that. When I was a youngster, we were into truck and tractor pulling. So I was going to tractor pulls and truck pulls when I was a kid. And when I was 15, 16 years old, I started to drive the 4-wheel drive modified truck that we had. So that was sort of my summers, and went down that road for a long time. And same with you kind of have to pick your poison. What are you going to do? And just there wasn't time to jump into to any other form of racing. Obviously, I mean, I've done drag racing just on an amateur level, like cruise nights, that type of thing. But for me, really, what's got my passion outside of snowmobiling is the road racing stuff and the endurance road racing stuff. To go down to some of the big races in the US with a car like the Mustang here behind me. I've had the privilege to go and race at Daytona, at Road Atlanta, at Watkins Glen, Mosport, whereas I was raced at Mosport a couple weekends ago. And nice. You get to some of those big races down in the States, 100 cars on the track starting the race. And it's pretty amazing to be in that situation on some of these epic tracks. I mean, to go around, if anybody's ever been around Daytona in a passenger car or in some sort of a race car doing like a Richard Petty driving experience or something, it is next level. But to race at Daytona, to be in the draft, and I was in a Honda Civic, so it wasn't like a real crazy car. But still was doing 138 miles an hour going through the tri-oval at Daytona before where you kind of cut down into the infield in a Honda Civic. It was still pretty spicy. And for a brief moment there, I was Dale Earnhardt, which is another memory I'll never forget about. So it was awesome. pretty amazing to do that stuff. So that's my summers. And like I said, the wintertime, it's snowmobiling, but for riding snowmobiles, and I'm not, suggesting people go out there and rip trails and go as fast as they possibly can. But with snowmobiles and the adjustability of a snowmobile, we're talking earlier about changing the front limiter strap and making those adjustments on the trails. I mean, those are all the same sort of adjustments that we do with race cars all the time. And to be able to do that on a snowmobile and feel those changes, you can get into the ditch pretty quick with that stuff and go upside down. That's where sleds like the Yamaha with the IQS system, like 3-position only. I mean, to me, it's one of the best snowmobile suspension systems out there currently, just because it's so easy to deal with. It's easy to understand. It's 3 positions, soft, medium, and firm, whatever it is. And that's it. But when you start getting into sleds like the Polaris XCR and the XRS Skidoos and things like that, with the amount of adjustability on those things, if you understand it and you can kind of geek out and understand what's going on there and how to manipulate the system to your advantage. Again, it's one of the things I really like about snowmobiles and how it parallels to what my other passion is with the motorsport stuff. And that you can feel that difference, in the seat of your pants and in the handlebars right away if you're chasing the setups. I mean, spending some time with John Sherrard, you guys had him on, and that guy is just, he's forgotten more about snowmobile suspensions than anybody will ever know. So, and riding with that group and John and the guys that he rides with to help develop his suspension systems, and you talk to them and how they're chasing a moment in time. They love the suspension for 99.9% of the ride, but there's one little spot when they're doing one particular thing, hitting one particular bump, and it's not, they don't, it's not, they might even like it. They just don't like it as much as they want to like it. So how do we fix this one little moment and not take away from anything else? I mean, that type of experience that you can have on a snowmobile is to me one of the reasons why I like snowmobiling so much. And just to be able to go out and feel that. Mark Wilkins, he races for Hyundai Canada and also is one of John Sherrard's test riders. He kind of likens it, snowmobiling, to an endless lap of the Nuremberg ring, where you're on a track, you can never figure it out because it's too big. It's not like a circuit with 10 or 12 corners that you get your marks on and away you go. Snowmobiling is just this endless ribbon of information coming at you that you have to have your sled set up for, to be able to take and ride, but also your brain to be able to take and ride and stay safe, stay on your side of the trail, not blow any corners or wash out into the oncoming lane. Heaven forbid there's any traffic coming, because that can always happen. So staying to your side, going whatever the pace that's safe for you, and being able to dial your sled in and your own skills, that to me is what snowmobiling is all about. And if you go to a place like New Brunswick, for instance, there's no snowmobile trail speed limits in New Brunswick, so you can do it and not feel super guilty about it. For all the OPP friends that I have out there.
Right. did you get a chance this past spring to ride a Mach Z or a Lynx?
No, I didn't. So with COVID this past spring, Yamaha was not able to go to snowshoot, so they stayed back from snowshoot. So Rich Kehoe and the rest of the crew went to snowshoot. They were the ones that rode the Skidoos and the Lynx and the Polarises and the Arctic Cats. I had to stay back in Ontario to do the Yamaha product. Plus, I couldn't deal with at that time there was the 2-week quarantine when you came back from the US, and I just couldn't do the 2 weeks. So that took me out from the opportunity of going to snowshoot. So I'm very well versed on the new Yamaha product. So you can ask me questions about the EPS system or the new
we don't want
SRX.
No,
okay, that's fine.
No, it's good.
I have
talk about Skidoos here, and occasionally the odd Polaris, but mostly
the odd
Skidoos.
Polaris. Well, I am looking forward to the new Mach-Z. So
yeah. So I am too. I rode the Lynx. It's pretty awesome.
It looks like
the Mach-Z. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. Or the XRS with the Smart Shocks too. All right, my buddy
Yeah.
Corey's getting one. He's in the chat right now, and he's anxiously awaiting it. But I'm really interested to see what John Sherrard does with that suspension, and I'm interested to see how that works, because I thought they rode great before. I can't imagine when you have suspension tuning itself as you ride what that's going to be like.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, have you had a chance, or not to plug John too much here, but the guy he is the master. Have you been able to ride one of his sleds?
No, I have not, but I want to. We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe
I have friends that
It's-
order the shocks from him. Like sometimes now, Greg, he orders his shock systems from him all the time. And I had a buddy last year that had them too as well too. So, and I when I talk to him after the show, I want to take my XCR there after, like when I get it, just to fine tune it, you know, just to fine tune it and set it up to my weight and whatnot, and see what the difference is. So
yeah, and I mean, if people take the time to set the sleds up, I mean, with whether it's the new Skidoo with the Smart Shock or an XCR or whatever, I mean, just getting that sag right, the ride in, you know, getting that balance from, you know, effectively lengthening the wheelbase out to get that ski pressure that you need to keep the skis on the ground, to get that precise handling in the front. I mean, to take the time to set up your sled. I talk to a lot of people that they get their sleds from the dealership, and it doesn't matter, you know, if it's a run-of-the-mill regular snowmobile or one of the spicy ones like an XRS or an XCR or, you know, the Rave or something like, well, maybe not the Rave yet, but I'm sure there's people with the Rave who are going to take that sled home and never touch it.
Exactly.
Never twist a spring, never turn a clicker, and they're missing out on a lot. And it's a little daunting to get into those systems and start mucking around and making changes. But if you spend a little bit of time doing it, or get some help from a professional like John, it will pay dividends on the ride quality of your sled. You know, it's amazing what a simple setup can do on your snowmobile. So highly recommended.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, there was a comment back there, Gary. You had it up there from Dan Rainmaker.
Oh yeah, Daniel. I had it up there. I wanted to read it off, but we got sidetracked, and he had Daniel Raymaker. He said he has to go, but Gary and Rich, it's Polaris. Dan, I had to leave the show, but I want to give Jeff a special thanks for all he does for the sport of snowmobiling, and he gives you a big handshake there.
Well, thanks, Dan. I mean, I'm an enthusiast like everybody else. I'd love to give more if I could with STV. I mean, we're pretty busy once the meat and potatoes of the season starts. But I appreciate that you know, that type of thanks. I mean, it's special for me to hear that stuff. And I wish I could do more. I wish I could get involved more with clubs. Just there's just not enough hours in the days, or not enough days in the week, I find.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, amen. No, but we thank you for being here too. This is awesome. We still have 74 people chatting away here, and we've had record number in the chat tonight for sure. So this has been a great show. Thank you.
Question for you, Jeff.
I appreciate
How long does it take on average? How many hours to produce a show? Like, so your segments every week, like on average, how many man hours does that take to produce?
It does vary a little bit depending on what the subject matter is of each individual show. Mm-hmm. If you know, for viewers of STV, if you're watching a show where between every commercial break, I look at every show as 4 segments, because we got 4 segments between the commercial breaks. If there's a different subject between each segment, typically those shows are about 3 to 4 days worth of production time, shooting time. So that's me and a camera guy, and we're out doing what we do. Now, that doesn't include the prep time. And if you know, every word that I say, practically every word that I say on STV is all scripted out beforehand. So I write everything out to make sure that, you know, I'm not saying the wrong thing, that I'm saying everything I want to say in the time that I have to say it, which if you're just talking like we are tonight, I'm just looking at the ticker. We're, you know, it felt like we've been talking for like 45 minutes. We're 2 hours and 22 minutes into this thing. It's so easy to do that on TV too. You can just ramble on for way longer than I have time to do on the TV. So everything's scripted out. And, you know, so adding that time to it, and travel time and everything else, we probably really have about 10 man days into every STV show. And once the season starts to come, like I have to have 6 shows done by Christmas. So, you know, and then once Christmas comes, from show 7 to 13, they're weekly deadlines after that. So it's in the middle of the season, if you're looking at doing, you know, we have 2 of us, but 10 working days. So you're on the road 5 days for every show, and you've got a deadline every Monday. There's not a lot of wiggle room for, breakdown of a truck or a snowmobile or weather related travel. I got a great story. I was 5 days on the road for a 4-day trip to, where was it? It was an Arctic thing in outside of Denver. I think it was actually outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I was 5 days into a 4-day trip, never unpacked my snowmobile bag.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And it was just like the best part of that trip, though. I don't know. I'm not into this, but I get back to the Ottawa airport, and I'm now in my 5th day of a 4-day travel, and haven't gone all the way out to Jackson Hole, all the way back into Ottawa. All I want to do is get home, and I'm waiting for my bag to come off the conveyor. And there's an RCMP officer roaming around with a cute little black lab puppy. And I'm like, oh, isn't that nice? There's a black lab puppy there. I'll put my bag down here and he can smell the bag. Evidently, that dog likes something in my bag.
He sat down.
Yes. So the officer and the dog left the room. Everybody's looking at me. I get my bag off the conveyor, big snowmobile bag with everything in it. And I walk over to the customs agent, to go out the door out of the airport. And I look at her and I'm like, I'm not going out that door, am I? She's like, no, you're going through that door. I'm like, great, I knew that. So I head over there. There was nothing in there. I'm assuming the dog lit on some marijuana or something like that. I didn't have any of that with me.
It was 2-stroke smell.
It must have been. It must
dog.
have been. But I was Juan Pablo Escobar for at least 45 minutes talking to the customs agent, and I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't do that. I mean, there might have been some CBD oil in my life at some point. I don't know. Maybe it got on something in the bag or somebody else. It was sort of the company bag. I don't know who had it before. And it was like the custom agent looks at me dead in the eye and says, the dog just doesn't pick up on marijuana. It will also pick up methamphetamine and cocaine. I'm like, right, because that'll be better. So,
yeah, that's right.
So keep in mind,
God.
I'm 5 days into a 4-day trip. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Everything is taken out of my snowmobile gear bag and all the camera gear. They were looking at lenses, everything was apart on the table. I'm there for an hour and a half. Finally, they're like, well, you're clean. You can go. I'm like, thanks. Another half an hour to pack everything up. And I'm just like, I just want to go home now. I was ready to cry. But that's the kind of thing that happens with snowmobile stuff. And that killed me on a deadline. That's how we started this conversation about how long it takes to shoot a show. You spend 5 days on the road and you don't come back with anything, nothing. I never even took the camera out of the bag. And it's like, now I'm on deadline. I still have a deadline Monday morning. And, I'm calling up the editor who thankfully gives me some leeway on some things. And I'm like, listen, dude, I know I have to have a show to you today, but I don't have it. I don't even know what I'm going to do. And that's when the Scuzzy comes out. We do another Scuzzy piece. So it's one of the trials and tribulations of TV.
Yeah.
And then your editor says, well, Jeff, I just seen you on the Border Patrol 911, whatever that show is. What are you doing co-starring on that?
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been an excellent episode because I was not making sense that night. I can tell you that. I was just so tired and wanted to get out of there. I probably would have agreed to whatever they wanted to offer to be on that show. So it's like, is it going to get me home? Oh, yes. All right. Sign me up. But
Snowmobiler Television's in the chat. And Snowmobiler Television's in the chat and they're taking a poke at you. Deadlines like your promo VO. Do you have a voiceover due right now or something?
That would be my editor, Brent. And yes.
Oh, that's too funny.
I'll voice it and send it out over the airwaves right after I write it. And then I've got
that's awesome.
It's 20 seconds. It's 20 seconds I have to write, and it's just he's been on my butt for the last few days about it, and I apologize, but I have to be very careful because if Brent's listening right now, I said he gives me forgiveness from time to time to miss deadlines. I try not to do that too often, but if this is like really early in the season for us right now, so if I don't want to start down that track, so I'll have to I'll have to make up for it. I do owe him a little bit of footage for our show 2 as well, which is still sitting on my GoPro, so I got to get that to him. But technically, Brent, I was ahead of the schedule for show 2, so I think it's all working out evenly in the wash here. I'm hoping.
When's your first episode here, Jeff?
First episode, we're going to be airing this season on Outdoor Life channel, Outdoor Life in Ontario and across Canada, Wild TV, Rev TV, and I think there's also going to be a couple in the US, some more regional stuff in the US for folks that might be tuning in from down there. I don't think the schedule is absolutely set yet, but typically on all the networks, we're going to go to air either the last week of December or first week in January. Definitely the first week in January will be up on air. But once the broadcast schedule is set, we'll be putting notices out through Facebook and other social media endeavors to try to get that out there. But typically, again, kind of over the Christmas break or early in the new year. Each of the networks have a little bit different airing schedule too, so some of them are about a week out from the others. But yeah, so those are the networks to look at for Outdoor Life, Wild and Rev TV here in Canada. And then of course once the shows are done, they all get posted to YouTube for viewing at somebody's leisure as well. So that's again, that's an excellent part of what YouTube can offer for television production for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was just going to ask, how quick is that after they air on say Wild TV? How quick does it go to YouTube? Is it immediately after it airs, or is there a delay there?
It's pretty much within about 24 hours, and everything's pretty topical. We do try to shoot as much in season as we can with STV. So we may have a destination feature, say for show 1, like I mentioned, we're going to have a destination feature from Yellowstone. We shot that in March of last year. I wasn't there, but the other guy shot that. But again, all my stand-ups for that and the shows are all put together kind of in season. So when we're doing an opening for a show or maybe an afterburn or something like that, typically our turnaround from the day we shoot it to the day it goes to air on a network is about 3.5 weeks. And then of course, within about 24 hours from there, it gets posted to YouTube and what have you. So it's all pretty topical and a pretty quick turnaround for us, which keeps all of us on our toes, and those deadlines really important. Otherwise you get your editor that does really make you look stupid sometimes if he wants to. The editor is the real key to the whole show. He can make or break you, that's for sure. I owe Brent, the editor.
He's the one that keeps everyone in line, right, to make sure the deadlines get all done, right?
Yeah. And like I said, he can make you look really good. We got actually all of STV. We got a great team for in the field production. There's Brent Core, who's the main shooter, and then myself. We pretty much do everything, the two of us, out on the road together. And then we've got Brent Gearlings, who's back at the studio. He's putting all the shows together. And then at the office, we've got from Rich Kehoe and his wife Tendra, all the way down through Andrew, who's the main sales guy, who's done an awesome job this year with selling the show. So he's the reason why we're going to all the places we're going. So again, and Jake, who's sort of our coordinator on the ground, and a lot of good friends. I mean, it's a really, really good group of people, and I'm privileged to be part of it. I'm really happy to be part of it. And going back to that conversation that we had earlier on tonight, kind of getting with myself getting back into TV, and originally saying, Rich, that I wasn't super interested in getting back into TV. I'm glad that I'm here now, because it's a heck of a ride in the wintertime to be with a good group of people doing something you love. That's for sure.
Right on. Yeah, it shows too. It's a great show. Corey's asking, are you going to Sledorama this weekend, Jeff?
Yes, we're going to be going to Sledorama. It sounds like that the vendors are there's quite a number of vendors. The show and shine, I think it's going to be a record number of sleds showing up for the show and shine, and the swap meet is sounds like it's sold out as well. So it sounds like there's going to be a great swap meet there. Sledorama is in Peterborough this weekend on Sunday. It's a one-day only show. So within the company, that the ownership of STV, Rich Kehoe, we've got OSM magazine, we've got ATV World magazine. We also do the Toronto International Snowmobile show, which they had to cancel this fall because of restrictions, and it was too unpredictable, and it was getting to the point that they had to make a decision, and this decision goes back to sort of late August early September, with the amount of prep time that goes into such a huge show like that.
Right.
So it was just, at that point, there was too many unknowns to be able to commit before. A lot of people had to spend a lot of money. So so they weren't able to do the international show this fall, but Sledorama is another one of the shows that that the company does, and they're able to move forward with it. So obviously a little different flavor of a show compared to the international show, but still pretty good. I was there. Well, last year it was canceled too, but I was there the year before, and there's quite a few vendors, folks that I think John Sherrard will be there. And again, the swap meet, if you're looking for old stuff, you got to get there early. I think those guys start moving in about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and all the good deals are had by 10 a.m. So if you want something good, you got to be there with your bells on. And it sounds like there's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah,
that should be good. Yeah, it was packed 2 years ago, man. So I with the show not being happening in Toronto, I can just imagine, the people that just want to get out there and get a little bit of sled and show into them. It's going to be packed. I think it's going to be this weekend.
Yeah. There's a lot of people crawling out of the woodwork for it. It'll be great.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of pent up energy for snowmobiling right now. I think people are looking forward to it. I mean, hunting season's over. They got a couple of weeks. It's time to reset to get into snowmobile mode. And what a great way to do it, to go to the Sledorama show and just kind of kick things off. Buy some popcorn or whatever and peruse the floor. So it should be pretty good. I think 2 buildings this year. So like previous seasons, awesome. But it'll be a good one.
No, it's good.
I think they're going to need a crowd control system in place for sure.
Parking's going to be
seriously,
crazy, man. It was crazy 2 years ago, and I can just imagine what it's going to be like this weekend. So get there early.
Like I said, get there early. I think that's going to be the key, especially if you want to get something out of the swap meet, because I got.
Oh no!
We lost him again.
He'll come back in. We'll get him back in to finish what he was saying there.
So that's what the delete guest button does. I'll say that to him.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, we
got.
So that's finish what you were saying.
So that's what the delete guest button does.
I'm wondering. It's almost pretty regular. It's like, did I say something bad again? Like, kind of hit the flush button.
No,
but.
Yeah. So what were you saying, Jeff? There, just finish what you were saying.
I was just saying, if for anything that you're looking to get at that show, especially swap meet stuff, got to get there early, because last time I was there, by 10 o'clock, all the good stuff was already gone. There was just a procession of old iron leaving there from first thing in the morning, people buying stuff, and away they go, or at least getting to the back of the pickup trucks to enjoy the rest of the show. So it'll be. I'm going with some cash. So.
Right on.
And what will you guys be doing there is from a OSM kind of standpoint? Will you be promoting the magazine and the shows and doing things like that?
Yep. So OSM will be there. We'll be taking photographs for the magazine, and there'll be a bunch of free magazines for patrons to come and pick up, and of course the whole team will be there. So if you see one of us walking around with OSM or STV on our jackets or hats or something, stop, and usually we got enough time to talk, because the show is crazy, but it's not. Once it's kind of in moving along, it's given us some time to do what we need to do and talk to folks. For myself with STV, I actually want to do some shooting there and kind of build and develop a story around it. Talk about the differences between Sledorama, producing a show like that compared to doing the big show, the Toronto International show, and also with by the sounds of it, I want to do some stuff with the show and shine that's going to be there. Maybe do a story on going into the swap meet and trying to find the deal of the century, which probably doesn't exist, but I'm going to look for it anyways. And
nice.
Just kind of talk to people and try to get if you see me walking around and I got a camera guy with me and you want to talk for a little bit, we'll do interviews with vendors, with people who are coming by and there as not spectators but attendees. Just kind of see what we can mine out of it. I think we can do most of a show, not most of a show, but a good portion of STV. Our show number 3 is going to kind of be centralized around Sledorama, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Right on.
That's great.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I'll pop by and say hi. I think we're heading down there, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll be there. I'll be there all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So
Right on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Perfect.
What's going on Saturday? Is it open to public or is it just you setting up?
Saturday's a setup for the team. So snow fences, things like that for crowd control and parking. And then vendor move in is on Saturday as well. And then for all the swap meet folks, I think they set up on Sunday morning. So there's a procession of trucks and trailers, I think at about 4:00 in the morning, lining up to get into the place. So it's a one day only show. So it's Sunday only, and it'll be a busy day.
Right on.
Nice. What a ripper. Love it.
You might find an SRX down there, Rich.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be chasing you down for it, Rich.
That's it.
Or you can get some pre-parts, because you never
That's
know
it,
what
right?
kind of
I can
parts
start
you're
building
gonna
it.
need once you get one. Yeah. You know, you're going to need
Exactly.
like skis and maybe a windshield and a
Yeah,
seat
yeah.
cover or handlebar cover. So you can pick up all that stuff there, I'm sure.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, it is good. That swap meet's amazing, man. They got some really good diamonds in the rough there, man, for sure. I remember looking at some parts last year. I'm like, holy crow, you'd never find that anywhere else.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
Yeah, I just love poking through that stuff too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
one of the best
is
swap
good.
meets I was ever at was, I mean, I think it's anybody's best swap meet is Heydays in Wisconsin. That's another amazing experience to go to Heydays. I got to show you this. So
we should have
I went
next
all
year,
the way
man.
to Heydays.
Oh, I know.
Oh, there'd be so much content there for you guys. It'd be amazing. So, but they've got like 100 acres of swap meet, and again, all the good stuff goes like day one. So you got to be there with bells on. But we were there. We had a display for STV and OSM magazine, so we were there for the weekend. And I wandered the swap meet for all 3 days, and with the Canadian border, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt getting stuff back. So didn't really find anything that I was super interested. Well, I should say I found a lot of stuff that I was super interested in for snowmobile related, but it was just going to be too much of a pain to get it back. So the one thing I did find 3 days at Heydays at the swap meet, you'll never guess what I brought home, but I have it here in my hand.
That? Let's see it.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, she sits on the dash and just kind of she does that. I think it was like a Hooters girl thing. So yeah, I went to Heydays and I came home with that. But yeah,
that's great.
I got it for
Hilarious.
$2 American. I got it for $2 American. The guy had a box of them. I probably could have got the whole box for $3 American, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to take them all. I'm only going to take one, because if I take a whole box of 100, these things are going to be all over the place. I'm not going to be exclusive anymore. So I just bought one, and everybody's been jealous since. So
That's awesome, man.
That's great. I had a Honda Element years ago, and I had a little hula girl from Maui on the dash from when we went there on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the same as the hula girl, except something else is jiggling. So.
And I know, I see that. Yeah, that's those headlights. That's those headlights in the rack you guys are talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My old lady's got like, oh, what's he doing?
Your old lady, there it is.
Yeah.
But your old lady's doing that, but your better half is okay with it all.
That's awesome.
Could be. Yeah, exactly. So maybe
I could see you checking over the border with that. You got anything to claim? Yes. You're shaking.
Yeah.
No. It was already stuck on the dash. They never even asked.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Exactly. You got anything to claim?
That's too good.
Yeah.
That's
There's
funny.
extra duty on those. That's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Corey
paper
asked
or
a good
plastic?
question about. Corey asked a good question about Sledorama. Is it double vaccine to enter?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% certain of that.
No.
So
Okay,
That's another thing. They're going to check everyone.
I think there's the security company that they have is going to check that. So I believe it
While
is
you're in line.
double vax to get in. I mean, it's an enclosed place, so
Yep,
no different than going to a restaurant. But from what I understand is that they've got that process kind of already taken care of. Make it as seamless as possible. It might add to a little bit of a delay for people to get in, but it's the reality that we're in right now. So
for sure.
You know, we just a little bit of patience, but they're going to try to get people through that process as quick as they can.
Right on. Good.
Sarah says, Jeff, your dad says your mother is watching. LOL.
Oh, Jeff.
I know. She's seen it, so it's okay.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Fun times.
That is good.
Yeah.
But
awesome, the family. I love it when the family gets involved in snowmobile sessions live.
Yeah. I didn't tell him I was doing this until like an hour before we went to air. So
that's great. Yeah, we love it. We love it when our guests promote the hell out of our shows.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, that was just them. That was just them.
Oh, okay, great. So, no, that's pretty cool. What would you say is the most memorable experience you ever had in your career?
Snowmobiling? Geez, I mean, it is so tough to drill down and just say, okay, this was my most favorite experience. I mean, there was so many good experiences back with riding with John. The first trip that I ever did with John way back in the day, and this is like 96, 97. I was just out of high school. It was before I went to college, and I did this epic road trip across the country. First time I'd really been across the country. We left Ottawa. I think our first stop was the Sportsman Lodge in Sudbury. We stayed there for a couple of days.
Nice.
Then from there we went to Kenora, rode in Kenora, left Kenora, went to Gimli, Manitoba. Then from Gimli we were in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and then Whitecourt, Alberta, and then wound up in Revelstoke, BC. And that was the very first. I was hanging around John and the Snow Tracks crew back then a little bit, again, helping out on the weekends, like kind of after class between schools on the weekend. But this is the first time I really got to go on the road with these guys. And I mean, if you remember John, he was such a, he was such a character, big guy. I mean, he entered the room and just everybody, if he didn't command the room when he got there, we'll give him 30 seconds and he had the room. But being able to go out on that adventure with them is still something that I remember to this day. I mean, 4 of us in the truck cross country to all those different locations and amazing places to go. And first time in the mountains, almost died a couple of times. At least in my head, I almost died a couple of times. So, it was so much fun to do that. And then since then, there's been so many other good memories. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be this epic adventure, going to ride in West Yellowstone or the Chickshawks or Newfoundland, which is another amazing place to go and ride in Newfoundland. And I've had the chance to go and ride in Grossmoor National Park and ride right up to the tip of the fjord that you look out. That's in all the commercials, and it's like, I parked my snowmobile on that and looked out over that gorge. Wild. There's just so many awesome people that I've met and places that I've been to. It's it is. I could never, ever just say, this is one thing that stood out above all the others. There's just been so many good experiences. And, I'm a snowmobiler, and I think that's what made, Snow Tracks a success with John and STV and everything else. Like when we were done snowmobiling for the TV show, it was like, okay, well, let's go snowmobiling now. When I get home, I want to go with my stepson Brody and go for a ride with him. I want to do that type of thing. And just because, sometimes it's tough to get the mojo going after you've been on the road for a week snowmobiling, but, take that first step and get outside. And sometimes it's just the best ride is going right out the back door at White Lake and, heading to Pembroke or something like that with some friends and family. All those experiences are just something that I cherish all the time. So and I know I've forgotten more great experiences than I can remember, which is unfortunate. I have to go back into the old, now YouTube, but I do have all the old Snow Tracks videos and DVDs,
you do,
and VHS tapes. And every once in a while I go through that stuff and remember some of those stories, and rewatch some Sled Ed episode that I completely forgot that I was involved in, and it's like experiencing it for the first time. So it's this career of mine with television and snowmobiles has just been such an awesome ride the whole entire time. It's indescribable, really. I'm blessed to have it for sure.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I wish we could get access to those old snow tracks years, man. I mean, I taped them every weekend, but I bet you if I went through my old VHS tapes, you'd probably find them, written on their snow tracks, 97, 98, whatever.
It has wedding video, and then it's got stroked out snow tracks. It has crossed out Sled Ed best of.
Oh man, you got that.
And if you get that tracking to kind of align, you might be able to watch a video, because the tape's gone to dust now. But yeah,
those are the good old days.
Yeah, I mean, I've got all that stuff at home. Pretty much got the whole run of snow tracks, which with John and Bruce Mellenbacher and Debbie Burke started. I think that was 92 or 93.
Yep.
Which I mean, snow track started, with all those guys being drunk, and it's like, hey, we can do a snowmobile show, and away they go. Yep. But the looking back at those old shows, in the leather suits and the old sleds and the old way of doing TV and everything else, it's quite something. And I mean, back then when we were doing stuff with snow tracks, and again, I'm kind of dating myself, but this is going back to the days when the camera guys had the big cameras on their shoulders, battery pack belts. These leather belts that look like they had about, the 7 or 8 big, batteries the size of a ham sandwich around your belt. And then we actually had a sleigh that it was all suspended and everything like that to be able to pack the camera in, and the tripod, which I think the tripod back then was like a $15,000 tripod, because that's what television production stuff was worth. The camera with the big lens on it was like $100,000. And then you had the sound mixer stuff and all the other crap that you had to bring along with you to do TV. So you had this sled being towed by like a towed toboggan type of sled being towed by a snowmobile, ripping across the lake at 85 miles an hour. And the thing's just, you don't want to think that you have like $160,000 worth of camera gear in there. But that's what we did. Now you can practically do it on a cell phone. I mean, it's more involved than that, obviously, but cameras have gone down considerably for everything that we had in that pack back then, in that sleigh. You could pack in a backpack now and have image quality that is even better than we had back then.
That's crazy.
I mean, with Snow Tracks used to do stuff with pencil cam way back. You might remember when you see that the tracks, and how the track would move underneath the sled when they were doing when John was doing the test ride stuff that he would do. That pencil cam was this Sony camera, special camera. I think the whole rig was like $8,000. And it was, you couldn't buy it commercially. It wasn't available. You kind of had to know somebody that could fiddle with it and put it all together and make all these different components work. And it was big. Like the camera itself was fairly big. And then it went to a recording device that you'd wear as a fanny pack, and then had an external microphone that you clip somewhere else. And, if one little connector didn't work, I mean, your image was gone. It was it was a horrible pain in the ass system to use, but it got us those images. Now you can do the same thing with a $400 GoPro. It's gotten so much easier to do that stuff. And again, on the backside with YouTube and how everything is living on there, and has become shows like the Scuzzy show. And I did a show a few years ago with Dave at Spoiled Sports where we installed a turbo on an old 650.
I watched that. You remember that? That was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was
digging through his trailers for parts. Yeah.
And I mean,
now there's a guy that's got a lot of good stuff too, man.
Gold in them there hills. But a show like that, it's got for us, it's pretty good. I mean, snowmobiling isn't, we're not their Kardashians here, but that show's got over 100,000 views. And what's really interesting when you look through the matrix of YouTube, and people are engaging in the show, which they're not just going on to watch for 30 seconds. They're there to watch the whole thing, and we can see that in how it all kind of bleeds out. And it's pretty interesting to see that we're I'm thinking we're talking to snowmobilers Whether, you might not be a fan of greasy old triples, but you're a fan of snowmobiling, and you'll watch, some idiot try to make this greasy old triple go 107 miles an hour, which it's never going to do. But, if you don't like that show, the next show is going to be about the new Mach Z, or, the new stuff, or some amazing trip that we get to go on in a place that's, bucket list for a snowmobiler. So, I'm hoping that stuff really comes across to the viewers at the end of the day.
Yeah. No,
I think it's more than just the snowmobiles itself. I think the way you paint the picture, the way you tell the story, you could be describing a 2x4 piece of wood, and I would watch it for 28 minutes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I one of the lessons that I learned a long time ago with John, and I think this is what made John so successful, and it's something that I've taken to heart, is, he said, be yourself on the show, and don't try to be somebody you're not, because you'll see through it. I mean, I have a face made for radio. I'm not, I'm not some, model that's hair and teeth that would look way better on camera, but wouldn't know the front end of a snowmobile from the back end of an elephant. So he's like, you have to know what you're talking about and be yourself. And if you can do that, you'll be fine. And I've kind of, again, I do credit John for kind of giving me and teaching me the skills that I needed to, that's given me the opportunity to be a host on a snowmobile television show between the two shows now for, 18 years, 19 years on TV in one way or another. So that's pretty special. And, again, I hope that when somebody, if I'm talking to somebody at a snowmobile show, or just, in the supermarket parking lot, I'm the same dude that you talk to there that I'm on the show. And I think that's what I try to convey, is that I'm just doing what I like to do.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And it shows, man. And, for a lot of people, I don't know if in the show here in the chat room, if anyone knew John, but he was an amazing guy, knowledgeable as hell, and anything to do with racing.
There, my headphones died.
Yeah, because he was with Raceline Radio. Him and Bruce started, and Eric, who you did the voiceovers on Snow Tracks originally, and that they were all great guys, and still are, obviously. But John, unfortunately, he was a huge loss to the industry for sure, man. So, but great that you were able to, that he took you under his wing, Jeff. So, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was, truly special time. I mean, again, he could come into a room, and if he didn't command it within the first 30 seconds, he was no longer in that room. Exactly. Big guy. I mean, physically a big guy. What was he? He was like 6'4", 6'5", 350 pounds, big belly on him. And just, watching him ride a snowmobile was pretty funny sometimes, because he's, he had that big gut going on, but, just a linebacker gut, really. But, just a super fun guy to be on the road with. You never knew what he was going to do. He would often, in his truck, he always had this kind of Groucho Marx set of glasses. You remember those you get at the gag store?
Yeah.
But instead of a Marcho Grouch nose, it was a penis that was there. And, he would just put those on, and he'd be rocking away in his truck. If he knew he was going to pass somebody on the highway and saw them, he'd throw those on and just drive by like he didn't know that he was passing a buddy of his. And just, do crazy stuff like that. And the wacky sayings that he'd have, and just how he, he also, he would engage people on a regular basis, and it didn't matter if it was, somebody who was big into sledding or not, or, a family or a kid. And it just, he had a way of just connecting with people on so many levels that, it just made him such a lovable guy. And when the industry, when he passed, the industry lost one of the really good guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. Think about them quite often. Especially when you start watching the shows, right? And it starts coming back and that. So, but again, it's nice to see you continue along, though. That was the nice thing to see when I seen you show up on STV. I'm like, right on, nice, So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
that was good. Yeah.
And I appreciate Rich and the gang there too, with STV for again giving me the leash to do kind of what I want to do, because I've got some weird and wacky ideas sometimes. I don't know if you guys watch on Motor Trend channel shows like Roadkill, things like that. You know, I enjoy that type of thing, and I try to take the roadkill aspect with some snowmobile stuff, and you know, again, doing the old triple ride and rebuilding sleds in the parking lot of Kimpex and things like that. So
yeah, it was a good one too.
That's the stuff that I enjoy watching those programs. So I also figure if I would enjoy watching the show, then, you know, there's got to be, you know, 3 or 4 other people out there that would probably enjoy it too. So that's sort of my guide, my personal guide when it comes to story ideas.
Yeah, that was a great episode, man. If anyone's missed it or seen it, Jeff is building an old sled. It was an old Yamaha, wasn't it? That you were putting back together?
Old Yamaha Phaser. Yeah, Phaser.
And the Kimpex, you were back and forth into the Kimpex warehouse. That was awesome. Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
if you're going to rebuild some old stuff, you might as well go to where the parts are. So we went to their place in Drummondville, and over the course of 2 days, basically had the sled rebuilt. All new bushings, all new suspension, track, put new pistons in it, seat cover, the whole thing. I mean, and that sled that still exists. So might try to get a hold of that sled one day and do a little retrospective on it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was an old 500 fan Phaser.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, interesting times.
Yep.
Just got my audio back, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
No worries.
My wireless headphones died, and then I didn't have any speakers. I couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah, that's why I always roll with the old wired.
Yeah.
I was thinking that going to the wireless ones, but they die on me. They don't last long. You get an hour and a half, 2 hours out of them tops, right? So
I didn't charge them from last show, which was the mistake. So
that's good, man. But that was another good show, right?
It was. We got to hold them on for the 3 hour mark, though. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you don't mind. But, no, I really appreciate you coming on the show. This is awesome. So and sure. And if I get down there Sunday, I'll pop by and say hi, and we'll have a chat.
Yeah,
there.
please do, and sure. We'll do an interview, and we'll reverse the roles. How about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I can interview you. Yeah,
awesome.
That sounds like awesome. A perfect deal.
Okay, it's a done deal. So that's great. So listen, everybody, thank you for watching and staying tuned in tonight, and we'll let Jeff go. We'll let him get back to the old lady, so to speak.
Hopefully I get home and the door's open and not locked with a key.
For sure. And don't forget to everybody to pop by Energy Power Sports on Friday. It's a Black Friday sale, 50% off all the non-current stuff. And you heard all the other sales from the beginning of the show. If you didn't, go back and rewind and listen to it all again, and maybe meet that guy behind MUDBRATS on Friday.
Jeff, or Gary, you got to pull up Snowmobile Television's comments quickly. You got to pull it up for you.
Where is it there?
This is great.
He says, thanks, Jeff. MUDBRATS viewers and old ladies, please look forward to new episodes on OLM, Wow TV, Rev TV, and NTN TV.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so for sure. We love them all, big or small.
Great show, Jeff. Thanks again. Thanks, Gary. It was a great show.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you guys. I mean, it was absolute pleasure talking snowmobiles and a bit of race car stuff and just sort of the lifestyle. You know, really, this is no different than talking to a couple of buddies at the camp or cottage, or, you know, just out on a snowmobile trip somewhere. So it's amazing how snowmobiles can do that, eh? Like you have one common theme, and, you know, you can talk for literally 3 hours, 1 minute and 40 seconds now. So real pleasure to hang out with you guys. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
And I'm so happy that we're the ones to break your live streaming virginity here.
Yes. Never done this before.
There you go.
If you ever want to do it again, I'm game. This has been a lot of fun. So
definitely
maybe
again, Jeff.
Maybe next time we'll have to do a tour of the shop. So
we certainly will. Yeah, and you know what? If you guys have anything going on at OSM or on Snowmobiler television that you want to put out there, it's something new and hot that's coming up, we'll have you back on anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
You know that. You've been great guests. The fans have been on fire tonight, so really appreciate that.
Yep.
Maybe what we
awesome.
should do is do something when we're on location somewhere. I mean, whether it's if it works out timing wise with the live stream, you know, we could be in Alberta, we could be in Nova Scotia, we could be in Manitoba, or Ontario, Quebec, and if it you know, make some time on a Monday night and come out and do it. So it'll be my pleasure to do that as well. Yeah,
we'd love that for sure.
It was a great time, and thanks everybody for your comments too. That sent in comments from home. That's it's awesome to see that kind of engagement. Do we still have people that are listening in after 3 hours?
Oh yeah, they're still chatting away, man. They're still going nuts in there. Saying best show
amazing.
ever.
That's great.
Sure.
That's great.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great guests, man. So this is great, Jeff. Thanks again. Yeah.
We've got 68. We've got 68. We got 68 live chatting right now, and I don't know how many people are viewing without having the chat window open. You know, so it's pretty cool. But
it's awesome.
Yeah,
well, for those 68 people that are watching, thank you for coming out and listening to me ramble on for so much. This is great.
Yeah, awesome.
We love every one of them.
Yep.
You know, everyone. So hang around. I'm just going to roll the credits and we can chat.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
But yeah,
Sounds good.
That's it. Thanks again, guys. Don't forget, check out Energy Power Sports this Friday and Saturday for their open house, and don't forget to check out fasttrack.co and get that free install toolkit with the coupon code SNOW, and away we go.
It's a journey for